What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. Bro, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just checking my recording audio.
No matter how many
we
times
saw the levels.
it,
We tested the levels, but I didn't actually see you hit. Did you press record on that as well?
I don't know. You're gonna have to look.
You did. I heard it. I heard it.
I was just feeding into the paranoia.
Oh, it is that.
It's the worst part is because we know what the consequences are. If we don't do this 5-second check, what are the consequences?
Yeah,
the whole 3 hours gone down.
I've only been doing this for a few years. It's fine. Has talking of doing this for a few years, I think we did one of our best podcasts earlier this week with Tyler.
Yeah.
When is that gone up?
I'm uploading it actually right now as we speak. It's going up right now. It's like 9 minutes left to upload. Probably go up later on today. I'll probably put that up.
Because I think Tyler said we should just put it up, and I think we're willing to do it on the old channel. We'll give it like a bit.
Yeah.
And maybe we should record something after this to tell the old channel if anybody's still there and doesn't know.
Well, what are you still doing over here?
Yeah, what are you doing over here? We've left. This is what you're missing.
We're in sunny Hawaii. You're over here
That's
in
what we
rainy
should
England.
do. That's what we should do. We should be like, you're missing podcasts like this. This is a regular, normal podcast. It's one of our best ever. Come over to the channel.
It's like, they've only probably been doing it for a couple of 108 episodes. What? I missed a lot of catch up to do. You're going to do alpha.
Well, no one's alpha, yeah. How's things with you, man? How you been?
Things are going great. We got back from EGX, which was a hell of a good time. We're going to talk a little bit about that after we do the first topic and stuff like that. We can get that out of the way. But also doing actually kind of fantastic on the new channel.
Yes, I saw that.
So, it all started like a couple of days ago where I started to get an even number of like a couple hundred views on each one of the theory videos that I made, and I was quite excited about that.
Yep.
And yesterday and today, it really started to explode.
Yeah, you're getting some virality.
Virality. It's like the T virus. It's just you chuck it in. It's just I'm infected already.
That's it.
Sitting on like just over
My
210.
man's the AIDS of God of War videos.
Oh god, that sounds so bad. That's the worst. Can I be the COVID of?
Because that's so much better.
So much better. At least it's kind of curable. Anyway, over 200 subscribers, but the views, like in the last 48 hours, I've had 4,500 views. Yeah, which is good for a channel that's not even 30 days old yet.
Yeah, not even 30 days old. When did you create again? Wasn't that? It was sometime in September. It was early September. I feel like it was within 2 weeks. It was definitely within the first fortnight. Probably on the
something around there. But it's my memory. I'm getting old. I can't really remember those kind of things no more.
If only there was some like really important historical event that happened on a similar day. It would like keep it in your mind. I
couldn't imagine. I mean, if only.
If only.
However, I don't think that's the case. It's just.
It's a good thing it wasn't last year. It would have been on the 20th anniversary. So imagine.
Fucking capped off tooth, important things.
God.
Taking it away from them. It's like
anyway, to wrap up, your channel is doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Most importantly, you're enjoying making the content.
That's the thing. Yeah. I the last video that I made, I really enjoyed it. It was the Will Kratos die in God of War Ragnarok, and I was so excited. And I put it out, and people were enjoying it. It was getting some helpful comments, but it was the usual stuff, the stuff that's like, I'm a brand new channel. Yeah. I'm not expected to get thousands of views. Yeah. And then seeing that that's the one that's now taking the most off, and it's something like 3.8k views. I'm like, and all these people have given positive feedback and they're giving their own theories. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted from this, and everybody's getting to see my passion, and it's so great, so great.
Yeah, we need to find you some content to put up as shorts, but other than that, like it's fun to see proper YouTube strategy working for all the stuff that I've spent like the last few years working out. But the problem is, for this channel, quick YouTube talk, this channel we know can't really go viral.
Yeah, it's not those kind of channels.
Yeah, like we do very long form content in the podcasts. We can very rarely be like on the day. Yeah. So
and that's a scheduling thing as well.
Right. So we always knew that was an issue, but now you're doing all the stuff that we always knew, which was talk about a thing when it's ramping up to it, as not just after it's come out. Making the channel pretty much about one thing at least to begin with, so YouTube knows what you're about, knows what to do. Tags can be for me, all that stuff, and obviously you're killing it with the thumbnails because or because I'm getting 15 texts. Bro, what do you think about these 18 thumbnails?
Bro, I've just made 18 drafts, okay? Just tell me which one of these you think I should go with.
18 first drafts. I need it down to a short list of your favourite 5 for draft 2.
And then I'll send you another 18 variations on those 5.
Once we've got the one we like, what do you think about the text? Also, what about the colour palette? Do you think I should invert the colour? What do you think?
And then people are just like, when they're on YouTube, they're like, yeah, that looks like a video. No.
Yeah, click.
Damn it. All that effort.
Oh, God.
Anyway, bro.
Yeah.
The content that I make on that channel, as well as with the content we make on this channel, is all made possible by a special group of people. Our super bros over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who keep this channel alive. And also, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not specifically mentioned in the Patreon that it's helping SuperTube 80 plays, but I mean, it's coming partly to over here where we're getting our tech stuff. So
I mean, it's coming exactly over here. You use the mics, you use the sound deck, you use the rig.
Yeah, okay, so it is helping that channel as well. Thank you so much over there.
I feel like what we're really saying is you owe me something.
Why are you not
Ed's
giving
getting more
Sheps
out
anything?
of this than I.
Why are you not giving Sheps anything?
Who are these people? They're now in debt.
These people are Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Catspud the Friendly Patron, Mikey T the Gamer Giant, Super Sus Ben Fryer the Filthy Thief Fanatic, Joe McCormack Clark the 53rd, My Juicy Left Nut, the Super Sexy Producer Sean, and Gamsmaster, the Leader of the Empire, the Fearless One, the Great Lord Vader himself, step cousin, who isn't really important, but you know he likes to get involved in stuff like that. Yeah, it's nice.
That's such a good one.
Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on the gaming going here at Conbrosations.
Step cousin gets me all the time.
Step cousin, bro.
Yes.
Let's kick it off with our first topic.
Let's do it.
The topic that set the internet on fire since the last episode we spoke.
Not one of my tweets.
Not on your tweets.
It's not one of my tweets, is
Not
it? Okay, thank God.
Because, 50-50 chance it could be.
Panics in gamer.
I like that. Panics in gamer. Okay. Back-to-back weeks, we had one GTA leaks that came out that set the world on fire. And then the week after, Cyberpunk Edgerunners came out and reignited like an open flame to a barrel of gasoline. It's just suddenly Steam overflew with new players over there.
Yeah, talk about a comeback story.
Right, over 100,000 concurrent players at the highest peak right there,
which has beaten out The Witcher 3.
Exactly
at its peak. Yeah.
Craziness. Now, it was obviously like that in the beginning, but then we realized all the terrible stuff that was associated with it, and it quickly dropped back down. And then, just because of the anime, and I guess because now they've put a lot of work into it, a lot of bug fixes, and they've added some extra, and they're coming out with new DLC, they mentioned that as well, and they've put a little micro DLCs in it as well. People are back into it.
Yeah, let's have a quick talk about this, because there's a couple of things that, so recently, because before Edgerunners, because obviously anime, that just fixed the game, everything's perfect now.
Cyberpunk should just be known as before Edgerunners and after Edgerunners.
It should, innit?
That's what it should just be.
BE and AE. We were talking about maybe like checking it out because the 2-year anniversary was coming up.
Yes.
So I was sort of looking into it, and I was sending you videos like, bro, I can't believe these Cyberpunk videos have hundreds of thousands of views, because the PC community still liked it. That was its real flagship platform. It's where it worked best, and the modding community is really taking it and all that stuff. So I was sort of saying it seems like Cyberpunk's coming back. And then obviously Edgerunners comes out and it changed everything, and it was the motivating force for me to re-download eventually the PS5 version and have a look. And I will say, we sort of knew the game was like functional. Even forget Edgerunners, before that the game was mostly fixed, right?
Yeah.
The things that I will still say are true is that negatives, main story not particularly fulfilling.
The hair lackluster. The
game itself doesn't really have much story outside of the main story lines and the main story quests. If you go outside of it, like side content's not really great. And the interesting thing about a lot of those videos was they were testing out builds and all sorts of stuff. But these guys were making their own fun in the game.
Yes, that's what it was, maybe.
And that is still true, I think. So I've only put like maybe 3 or 4 hours back into it, but like I'm still getting those same senses. It is mostly fixed. There were literally thousands of bugs when the game first came out. They're mostly gone. But it is also true that I think if someone comes to the game now, they'll have a really good time.
Yeah.
If they never played it, or this is today, like edgerunners, forget edgerunners. If today was the first time they ever heard about the game, came to it, didn't watch the anime, didn't know anything about the launch, they'd have a really good time. They'd think it was a really good game. You and I got it early on, and I cannot shake my bad feelings about it, mostly because CDPR handled it poorly. And look, anybody that handles any negative situation poorly should just be strung up. Like, for example, the delays. The delays, they should have delayed, instead of delaying it 9 times, they should have said, look, we're not ready. We need a year and a half. We need 2 years, and then come out early. And it worked out to be the worst possible thing. So guys like us, I still worry about it. But have you watched Edgerunners?
So this is the thing. I watched we spoke about it a little bit when we went to EGX. I watched that first part of the first episode, and I got super busy. I just haven't been able to get back to it. It's not that I don't want to watch it. I really do, especially because everyone says it's amazing. There's not one bad word being said about it, other than the people who know that anime is obviously terrible.
Of course, other than those people.
Other than those people. But I'm hoping that it does what it does for everybody else, where it just invigorates everyone and it gives me that feeling. I'm looking to... The reason why I set the 2-year mark was because I was hoping to try to wipe my mind of all that negativity that we spoke about. Because
Edgerunners is a great palate cleanser for that. If you watch Edgerunners, and again, it's only 10 episodes, skip the intro, skip the outro. Actually, the intro sucks, but the outro is really good. Let me rephrase that. I didn't like the intro, but the outro is really good.
Right.
It's a really good palate cleanser, and I think it gives you a really good feel for like how legends are made in Night City, and it basically ends up with Night City eats everyone up, right? All those legends that you hear, like Johnny Silverhand, right? They all, to get to be a legend in Night City, it doesn't end well for you, right? And you got all these kids out there trying to grow their legends and stuff. So it's a really good palate cleanser. I'm really glad I watched it before coming back to Cyberpunk. I think if I came back to Cyberpunk without it, I wouldn't have any reason to not latch on to my bad negative feelings from the launch. But coming back now, although it's the same game and it does play the same, it does feel the same to play it, I'm latching on to the feelings that the show gave me, which were totally different. And so I would highly recommend you watch it before jumping back in. And especially because we have a good rig here, you could do, if you wanted to, you could try some of the mods. Like Let There Be Flight is one that I've seen, which gives you immediate Blade Runner vibes, and it's really clean. Like some of the modders are really impressive. Also, apparently that's one of the updates they made in 1.6, which is the new patch, which added in all the Edge Runner content. Is they added in, I forget what it's called, but they made stuff specifically for modders because they realised how passionate they are.
Well, they're the ones that are going to revive it, innit? Especially
so now people are flocking back to it, and CDPR are like, yo, here's some more tools for you to enjoy the game.
Standard, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So hopefully,
I heard they hired a few people from the modding community, so they probably got word from them. They were like, what would make your lives easier? What would do? Put that in there.
On that note, at the time, I was like, this company can't even make its own stuff. It's having to go to like fans. But like looking back on it now, and now with the rose tinted glasses of Edgerunners, I'm like, that was a really good idea to like get involved with the community. So it's tough. It's
really hard to put my firm foot down on where I stand with CDPR now.
It's weird.
I'm gonna get into the good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm just putting this out here first, is because they shouldn't have gone with the last gen consoles. It severely messed up their development, and we saw what happened with that. They've recognized that, so then the expansion is now only coming to the next gen consoles, the current gen consoles, which shouldn't make any difference. I mean, the base game is still running on the previous console. This should just be story in that. So
exactly,
why
I'm with you.
It doesn't make sense. Totally but they heard our cries far too late. Then there's all the stuff that they sort of alluded to and promised and didn't control the hype of and stuff like that. And that's still there, but they've changed now. They've gone a lot more quiet. They've gone a lot more, we're going to put our heads down and work, and they revamped the attribute system. They've worked on a bunch of bugs. Everyone's I've spoken to say that it's pretty stable now, and you get to enjoy the actual good parts that are in the game. But it's hard. It's like, do you forgive and forget? I am the kind of guy that does like to forgive and forget.
I like to forgive.
Yeah.
You know, I like to forgive. Forgiving is good, and people deserve... Here's the thing. What I would love to see is Cyberpunk and ideally the rest of the game world to take a note, because CDPR has sort of set the bar. This is why all the games go in open world, because of The Witcher, and then they mess up the very next one, right? What I would like to see is for Cyberpunk to start making some money now that it works and Edgerunners is out. They can bring out some actual DLC for it, and hopefully now they've learned how to not ruin the next Witcher title that they're going to do, and then fingers crossed they'll do a second Cyberpunk. Like, would love to see a Cyberpunk 77, or 2087 or something like that, right? Where it is a second installment, but they now know not to delay 2 weeks at a time. You know, just get it ready, bring it out, and then it could be the game it was supposed to be on current gen. Mm-hmm. And are they ever going to get my trust the way they had after The Witcher? And people say, one thing that bugs me, people go, Cyberpunk was always a good game. No, it wasn't. And it's different to, The Witcher had bugs when it came out too. Yeah, but it worked. And there was more game there. There was more world there, right? What I don't think Cyberpunk's ever getting my trust back, but they might get my my willingness to play their stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to just blindly follow them, which I did into Cyberpunk and was willing to do forever.
The words were, it's CDPR. How could they mess it up?
Literally.
That's literally what we were saying before.
It's CDPR. These are the guys that made The Witcher.
It's like we willed it into existence for them to fuck up.
Right. But, like, I mean, in a perfect world, they bring out Cyberpunk 2087, and it has all the stuff that it was supposed to have.
I'm fascinated by how your mind works. With, like, a Horizon 1 Dawn, and then like Horizon.
I'm just messing with it.
And then when it comes to this, it's like it's not it's not a Cyberpunk 2078. It's 87.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated to know how your mind works,
because I think ending on a 7 is part of their branding. Or what they should do is do a prequel game. I
don't think that is at all.
They should do a prequel game, Cyberpunk 2022, which is the alternate history, which is where the tabletop is based, and then you can have Johnny and Morgan Blackhand and Wayland and all those guys, Adam Smasher before he's like full Borg.
People wouldn't like how it shines a light on society that we live in now. That's the issue.
An alternate. You'd have to start within an alternate timeline.
This is a completely different timeline to the one we're living in, except it's exactly the same as all the shit we're living in right now.
Yeah, this is why I said 87. You go forward 10 years, right? Where, because it would be current gen only, and they'd be able to have taken all the stuff from the lessons they learned and stuff they pinched from the modding community, it could come out where you can do mods to your body, you can do Mantis Blade wall running, you can modify your cars. Ideally, and this is sort of one of the things that the Edgerunners show explores, because it's massive, it's a really important factor to Cyberpunk, and I remember being annoyed about this early on when we were talking about Cyberpunk and didn't absolutely hate it to begin with. Cyberpsychosis, right? This idea that if you start change, the perfect example was there was that promo reel where there was a like a dancer doing her makeup in the mirror, and it pulled out and she had no jaw, it was all robotic, and that was the perfect example, right? Because who you are is so like embedded in the way you look in your body, and if you start removing bits of you, how does that affect your psyche, right? And this is a true thing, like the worst injuries for most people that people have a hard time dealing with, you think, oh, you lose a leg, really easy for people to deal with that. Facial scarring, really difficult, because your face is what you think of as you.
Identity, isn't it? It's like you just look in the mirror that you recognize yourself,
right? So what are the impacts of changing your body like that? And it's a big deal in the show, and it should have been a massive mechanic in the game.
Do you know? Sorry.
No. Yeah, I was just going to say I want that. Yeah.
The one thing I think about what would have drastically changed the game, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but third person would have changed not only the gameplay, but then in cutscenes it would have allowed you to do something more cinematic and be more meaningful.
Yeah, I agree.
So that I'm thinking of that moment where we go in to see the what are the guys with the ones that go super cyber with that
Maelstrom.
faces? Maelstrom, exactly. When we go and see the Maelstrom and we see all the guys all hooked up to everything, there's that one guy specifically, when you first walk in, you're going to have that couch meeting, and he's hooked up to one of those computers, and he's like almost spaced out because he's still in the fucking computer, and then he like sparks and everything breaks for him. Imagine how much more cinematic and how much more interesting and how much more eye-catching it would be if it didn't rely on you looking at him, because you could easily miss him and go over this way.
I did the first time.
If it was like when you walk in, the camera cuts to the other side of the room behind the guy, and then the focus draws from you to him, and you see him like sort of like lights going off like that, and then every now and again like V just looks over at him sort of like twitchy because these guys are fucking weird, and like everyone's looking over, and then the main guy, what was the big guy called, the one that takes over Maelstrom? I've completely forgotten about all of this. I think Brick is one of the smaller guys.
One of the guys, yeah.
The bigger that comes out afterwards that pulls a gun in your face and stuff like that. If you didn't know he was coming from afar off, because you see that door open from a mile away and you see him start walking, or if it's like you're having a conversation because the scene is cut so well, and then suddenly he just puts a hand out, pulls you up and pulls a gun in your face, how much more into the moment would you be? And then you can control it with a good score and everything.
Yep.
And it would seep into your mind the deepness of how fucked up these people are, how fucked up the world of Cyberpunk is.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's what it should have been.
It should have been. The thing is,
but we had these kind of scenes in The Witcher. Yep. Very primitive versions, but we had them. And that's what made it so cool.
It's crazy because The Witcher had like the poison mechanic. Right, for if you take poisons and stuff, potions, it eventually becomes toxic. And I think that if they could have done cyberpsychosis or not cyberpsychosis, but the more metal you have in your body, the worse, the harder it is to relate to people. That's the basic premise, right? To the point where you just go nuts. They could have done it sort of like a Paragon system where you start at 100 humanity, right? Maybe it's just a little bar at the top. And the more stuff you add, you get gorilla arms and mantis blades, 20 off. And you need 75 humanity to speak to the monks and get like some extra, where it'd be like Street Kid, you'd know information. Where it's like humanity, you can freaking relate to these people, right? But because you have the mantis blades, because you have the power legs, because you have a Kiroshi and a freaking Sanderbeaston and stuff, you have 30 humanity, and you still get most of the dialogue, but all that stuff where you can relate to people isn't there, right? And maybe if you get below a certain point, no romances, because you're not thinking about romances, you're thinking about the next upgrade. You've lost a lot of your humanity. You're more about cybernetics and stuff like that now. Right, exactly. And in fairness, look, it's easy to pick this apart now. 2 years down the road, you can see everything you would have done. But the reason I'm bringing it up is for Cyberpunk 2078. I'd like to see this stuff implemented, and I think they should. I said early on, I think they shouldn't do a Witch Tuts. They should do the next Cyberpunk and fix it. They've decided to go with The Witcher, which is fine. Just don't ruin it. Oh boy. Which is, that's tough enough. But I do think they should stick with Cyberpunk, because then they've basically mastered the space. They got the sci-fi Blade Runner future, and then they've got the fantasy thing, and they do own the best titles in that. They do have the best fantasy game. In my opinion, there isn't a better RPG than The Witcher 3 for fantasy stuff, right? Can't think of one. Oh, Enzo El Dente, Mr. Spaghetti Assassin. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares.
Mr. Spaghetti Assassin.
No one cares. Anyway, you should watch the show. I bet the comments are going nuts. Like, watch Edgerunners. Watch the show. It's really good. I will watch it. Despite all of these things that you said about the ways that it could have improved and changed and things like that, I'm happy that it's back. I'm happy that people are enjoying themselves in this stuff. And there are things about the game that I do love. Like, the way they do like animations for the way that people move and stuff like that. Unlike any other game that I've ever seen and whatnot, especially in a game this size and this type of interaction and things like that, I think that was very cool. Just how many like cyber mods there are, that's pretty awesome like that, how they think about them, all the different attributes and how they work in with each other. These are all really, really cool things. And then, of course, they did nail the aesthetic of the world of Cyberpunk. So good. It's so cool. There is so much good in this, and that's the only reason why we're so upset that these bad things exist, and how these clear areas, in my opinion, where they could have improved were completely missed somehow. It is frustrating though, isn't it? Like, it's so much of the game is right, but it's all things that you don't. They're all like it's background music stuff. right? Like, for example, the soundtrack, amazing. The visuals, amazing. Story.
How come there was no trauma team mission? Like, I made a video on the trauma team thing. I was just checking out the videos that I did, and the top 5 coolest cyberware video is 100,000 views.
Right.
Fucking crazy. The Trauma Team video. Trauma Team's so cool. Such a cool and such a commentary on the world in that time that such a service exists.
Right.
It's so interesting to think about. This how the world is so fucked up that you can pay for this extra military grade premium.
SWAT medics, basically.
Right. And they showed it off in the trailer when they were showing off the game when it came. And they're like, "You got to save this woman.
She's got a trauma team. What's her face? Mission,
And she's got a trauma team thing, so you just need to pull out the chip. They'll take care of it.
Also, they're only there for her, innit? They don't give a shit about you. Rescued her. Get the fuck about.
Exactly. I think there was a recent trailer that they put out. I think it was for the Edgerunners update. Or no. It was part of the Edgerunners TV, the anime. In the beginning, the SWAT team guys, so the trauma team guys, they're like, not part of our thing. We don't care, and they just fuck off. And I was like,
they're mercenary medics.
This is so cool. I want to know more about this. And how there wasn't just a mission. Just a mission to find out about this, or infiltration, or whatever it might be. Yeah. It's so strange because it's such a big part of Cyberpunk.
I think you should play on PC. There's a mod which is still like, it's not polished yet, but the guy has said like the whole point is the world. This is the thing. Like, this is a perfect example of why this world doesn't feel right. One of my big complaints was that Night City didn't really feel alive. And that is still kind of true. And one of the things is that the city's run by corporations and gangs for the most part, right? And the gangs don't interact in any way. There's a gang of Group A there and then Group B there, and that's all that happens. And this guy made a mod where there are factions, and you'll walk into an area, and if there's Tiger Claws there or Maelstrom, they might be fighting. And if you side with one of them, and you start like attacking, say, the Tiger Claws, Maelstrom won't attack you. You'll gain favor with Maelstrom, and you'll lose favor with Tiger Claws. And if you get on the wrong side of one faction enough, they'll set a hit on you. So like, if one of the rival gangs sees you, it will like spawn in hitters to come and kill you because you're a Maelstrom guy.
That's pretty cool. That is. That's
how it's supposed to be. And there was another guy, I think it might be the same dude, made a mod where you could get corrupt cops. Where like, let's say it's minor, but it's things like, so you do a minor crime, you run someone over in your car, right?
Yeah.
And the cops come to get you, you call a number, pay like 1,000 eddies, and you pay it off. You pay off your crime, you know?
That is so cool.
And you're supposed to have factions. You're supposed to, right, you're supposed to be able to like, and also there'll be gang fights, so you can just walk through an area, and instead of it being like cops shooting at like a few Tiger Claws, it'd be like Tiger Claws and what's one of the other gangs? Animals, just beefing it out. They're just fighting, and it's up to like 50 NPCs at this, dudes at the minute. That's what Night City's supposed to be like. One of the show-off scenes was when you go to, I think it's Pacifica, and someone just takes out an AV with a rocket launcher and it flies into a building.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, it's gangland. In a dystopian universe where like the adverts on this street are for like clean food and water, guns, and hookers. That's the adverts of this world, right? Like, in that world,
it's like they know I'm watching.
Right, in that world where it's like, that world is the way Brits look at like Walmart in America. It's like, oh, camping stuff, food items, shotguns.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the world that they live in. But like totally militarized, it makes sense for these gangs to be fighting all the time, right? And it's not in there, and it makes the world feel lifeless. Or like how many, for example, we said like how many of those doors are there but you can't open them,
yeah,
right? And it says like it says you could get there but it's locked, and you're like, well, I've got 20 body, I could kick in a door.
Yeah.
Why can't
that's what those gorilla arms were made for, to be able to break through doors.
Right. Instead, I mean, if you're gonna do it, just put like a grate, like over shops. So like, okay, someone's chained this up. Like, you're not supposed to get in here. Okay, cool. But so much about the world felt lifeless. I really want them to improve it because I love Cyberpunk stuff. I love the style.
Do you think there's any chance?
Maybe. I
don't know if I want to get my hopes up for this, man.
Do it. Get your hopes up.
So they, like we said about the DLC, the expansion, the Phantom Liberties, they're only making it for current gen consoles.
Yeah.
Despite, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be available on previous gen consoles as well, because they've got the base game now.
Right.
Do you think there's any chance that behind the scenes they're just rebuilding the shit and adding all the stuff that they wanted from the original back into the game, so they can one day just come out and go, look, boom, here it is. I know this is the same discussion we had since the beginning of Cyberpunk coming out.
Well, they're actually moving towards it, though, this time.
That's what it seems like, right? I mean, maybe it's just hopeful thinking, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I feel like I see that, and I would like that to happen.
I don't think for this game. I don't think for Cyberpunk 2077. What I would like to see them do is sort of win back some favor, and I actually don't mind paid DLC if they give out a few free DLC, like meaningful amounts of story missions. I do think they should. There is a reference to Siri if you pick the Corpo thing, and it's just a magazine saying like Retro Gamer.
I had my theories of how that shit was gonna come out. I was like,
Same.
Siri's gonna be in it somewhere.
Yeah, they should have had things like you walk down
Fucking
an alley and they
magazine.
think you see a BD of a guy getting killed with a sword. Like, that's weird, shit, stuff like that. Like, are you sure it wasn't mantis blades? No, it was definitely a sword. Or like, you should hear about a girl with a scarred face, or carrying a sword, something like that. Even just to seed the fact that Siri's there. So one, I think they should delete that magazine, and they should add in hints that Siri is in, even if you never find her, right? Like, there's plenty of characters like that are well known in the lore. Like Morgan Blackhand is one of the biggest characters in the whole game, in the whole lore of this thing. You don't even I think you hear his name once.
Yeah, I was going to say
in the show. He's the guy that beat the shit out of Adam Smasher.
Oh,
he's a big deal.
Interesting.
He's a big deal. He's like the #1 ranked solo, but he's gone missing. He's presumed dead. So we don't even have to meet Siri, but see the fact that she's here, right here now for us, so that there's a connection. Give some actual DLC missions. Give some actual story stuff. Show people that the game isn't dead. That you didn't flop and leave it. Now it works, and Edgerunners has regained a lot of goodwill. And then after the Witcher game, I think they should come out and do the game, and they have all of Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Yeah.
And they know everything that didn't work. They can come in and be like, we need to add these things. We need the monorail system. We need the Mantis blade running. We need all the haircuts and engine modifications, and let's implement a humanity system, right? And then we can do another game. And look, at the end of the day, I don't think too much is ruined, because I think it's very easy to bring Adam Smasher back, because even though we kill him, he survived a nuke. So I think it would make sense for him to survive. It's okay.
It can be done.
Right. V, I don't care about. So you can have the same protagonist or a different one, Like, it's totally doable.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing, I don't want to, because I did play a Cyberpunk tabletop game with Rob, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Frustratingly, his was so much better. The story in his was so much better. It's not even close. It's so much better.
It's proper passion, what it does for you, isn't it?
It won't come in this game, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I do think what you said is happening. I think someone in the back is saying, okay, this is the game that works. Let's add in these things for ideally another title. Because I could see it would make sense, and there's more stuff that they can do with it, There's more places we can go. There's more ideas to explore. And aging isn't really a factor for like the big names.
Yeah.
It's like Adam Smasher survived a nuke, he can be back. Any of the big bads that we saw in the game that don't die, they can be back. Night City, still Night City, It is totally doable. All I'll say is Edgerunners brought back a lot of goodwill, including from me. Goodwill about willingness to forgive the game. I'm not so willing to let CDPR off the hook until the game is like fully functioning and working, and they don't ruin the next Witcher title. As long as they don't ruin, because it's a Vesemir game, isn't it? Or was that my idea?
That's your idea. Yeah. That's what we're hoping for, thinking maybe possibly.
That's the obvious way to go, though, isn't it? Like, what else are you gonna do?
Thing is, did they officially call it Witcher 4, or they say another Witcher game?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
It says the release date specifications.
I think we're calling it The Witcher 4 because it's the fourth Witcher, obviously.
Let me see. Is there like
the thing is, I don't see how you go forward with it, you know? Because I don't exactly know where Sapkowski took the books. I don't remember.
Okay, so Radek, who's the guy who works at CDPR, says, what we have not announced today, a game called The Witcher 4, so it's not called The Witcher 4, an exclusive storefront, etc., stuff like that. So, yeah, it looks like it's not called Witcher 4, but the next Witcher game.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, yeah. All right, man. That's the end of the podcast.
It's CDPR that's like the quote unquote the problem, because it's not the company that we loved now.
Yeah.
In that, one, most of the talent. I'm not saying they don't have talent now. I'm saying that the talent that built The Witcher 3, which is the game that got them everything, as far as we're concerned, most of that isn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which, from the Cyberpunk, that hurt a lot. And then they did mess up Cyberpunk so badly. So it isn't the CDPR that we know and love. That doesn't mean that they can't do great things, and that they won't end up with a great game. But I think you have to bring out a great game, and Cyberpunk was not when it came out. Yeah. And even now fixed, it still has those problems. Night City's kind of dead. The main story doesn't really work very well. I'm not invested in V. I couldn't give a shit about V. But then it had some amazing things. The romances, the Pan Am romance. I'm going through it now again as a girl to do Judy to experience that. The Pan Am romance is probably the best human experience I've ever seen in gaming. It's incredible. I highly recommend you do that. I'm
gonna play Male V this time. I'm gonna go for Pan Am and see how that goes.
Yeah, it's so good, and I've heard the same about Judy. I assume they're about the same in terms of quality.
It was pretty nice, the Judy one.
So like, but again,
she was pretty cool, and I felt a proper connection with it.
Same with Pan Am. What's cool is like Pan Am's really not distant, but like she's trying to avoid it because she's been hurt before, and like it's so human. That's such a normal thing to do. But what bugs me again about that is like they nailed the romance, and then there's like no connection until like the very end if you're going to ask for help, and then that's it. You know, like where are the, hey, I was thinking about you, come over tonight. I know it's a game, but like that's normal stuff, right? And then you just have a typed out response. Sorry, Pan Am, I can't make it tonight. I gotta do a gig, or I'm working towards this thing. Or
it would be really cool as well if like, because if they were planning to do a sequel or something like that, you could end it on like leave the relationship in a really shitty spot, like Pan Am or Judy confesses to you like look, I really don't feel like you're dependent, and I can't like rely on you. Anytime I need you, you're not there. So as much as like I love you, we can't be together. And it's one of those relationships that like in the next one, it's like we need an expert BD maker,
right?
We need an expert.
What does Pan Am do? Or whatever. She's like a driver or something,
And then in the next time you come back and it's like, I haven't seen you in 20 years.
Right.
It's like, and then this whole like, the love is still there clearly, and that'd be such a great thing. The way you could end it that way.
I mean, I was thinking, I can't remember. Are we doomed to die at the end of it? Yeah. Well, maybe like
you got a countdown,
right? But like, I mean, I've forgotten the ending. It's really forgettable. But I liked the idea. Potentially, I was toying with this, thinking about how I would do the next game. I would make it 2087, deal with it, or like 99 or 89 or something like that, 2069. But I think I would make like V or the Johnny V or whatever, however it works, a villain or like in the game. I'd make them a notable person in the game, right? So like from the tabletop, from Cyberpunk 2022. Like Rogue, Johnny Silverhand, all those guys, they're the big players from that game, right? And I would do it where it's like, oh shit, Pan Am, that's the one that, like, didn't she steal a Scarab tank or something? Or like, oh, that's a V. Wait, the guy that took out Adam Smasher, you know, and you're like a kid trying to come up. But I would also make it more of a come up story, because you start the game as V halfway up the ladder, right? Because you have that montage when you meet Jackie
Yeah.
of like you guys going through things, doing jobs, and getting bigger and better gigs, and like you start the game at your big break.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is kind of a mistake. I think you need to start at those low end jobs, sort of like the way GTA does it. Like you got to rob a. So like in GTA, you got to rob like a car, any car, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
In this, it's like you need to rob one of 4 things in existence. The only Bugatti Veyron, you have to steal that, right? Like, hold on, you know, like there's levels to this game,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like that we never got that build up. It's one of the reasons I don't connect with V.
Yeah.
Because V's just there. So we need our main character to be somebody. I think we can have V still in the game. I think no one cares. We can wreck on a lot of stuff. Like there's some fix, or maybe he went to that Mikoshi place and redid himself and stuck himself in a body or something, anything. Maybe he's full Borg, who cares? And have him as like a force, whether friendly or antagonistic, but like why not? And then you can like import your saves and all the decisions you made as V, like those go into your legend, or go into the legend of V for your character, right? Like, oh hey, that's V who like killed Adam Smasher, who had a fling with Panam. Wait, the Panam? Yeah, the Panam, right? Like, or you know, or like that's V who spared Adam Smasher and had a thing with Judy. Wait, Judy the BD expert? Yeah, the BD expert, Judy, right? Like they used to have a thing. Oh shit, well, you know, like I'd love to see that carry over.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a nod to the last game, but it's like, yeah, it exists, but like, don't worry about that. Check out what we got now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I banged on about this because it was such a passion thing for me, and
It really was. It really was. But really, the reason why I want it all to come back is so I can sit in that chair and not feel shame.
it's such a cool chair though. It's so cool looking. Seriously, you should play it on PC and maybe chuck in the chair and maybe chuck a few mods on there. Like Let There Be Flight would be cool.
I do want to try out the monorail system that they put in there. Someone made the monorail.
That's the thing as well. Like I think the monorail system in and of itself is ultimately useless because you have fast travel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're doing a come up story like what I'm suggesting, which is annoying because this is sort of how Edgerunners goes. He does a couple things on the monorail. It's not spoilers, but like I've mentioned this
Can't
before.
watch anything anymore.
That's it. It's spoiled. Like I've said this before, you should start on the monorail. Maybe you're running away from people, or you get in a fight, and it's up to you to like, are you going to use people as human shields? Are you going to defend people? Like, are you going to do a train top fight, which would be cool? Imagine being in Cyberpunk 2077 and you're on the rooftop shooting like laser bullets at each other. That'd be sick. Mantis blades and shit. Like, why aren't we doing stuff like that?
Yeah.
Why aren't we starting out with like, hey, you need to follow this guy, stay within 50 feet of the guy, or the tracker that we have on you won't work or something, and then you have to get on the monorail and try and get close to him and get through the crowds and stuff because it's rush hour. Why didn't we get that? You know,
the many questions we have for the guys over at CDPR would be they would no one would ever get this information, but it would be great to one day get it.
Watch the show.
Yes, I think I will. Just as soon as I get 5 minutes to myself. So never.
Oh, you just got a young family. It's fine.
Young family, for nothing to take care of. No,
right, it's not a big deal. What you should do is put Isla in one of those, those baby packs that people wear.
Oh yeah.
Put her in that and then just hang it up on a wall. So you know exactly where she is. She's not going anywhere.
Exactly, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Funny thing is that she would either really like it or really hate it.
Yeah.
Like she'd either just be the happiest kid in the world swinging around like that, or like go, all right, I want to go places.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yes.
This is the True Gamer Podcast.
That's right.
Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday here at youtube.com/Conbrosations 1. And over on podcast services. For the past 2 weeks, I may have forgotten to upload it. And,
no.
And I've been doing it really late, but I'm sorry about that. One of the guys, Kareem Wise, I think it was. Sorry, thank you for reminding me. Over on podcast services around the world. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can get more True Gamer podcasts like this. If you're on podcast services, follow us, rate us 5 stars. It really helps us out, climb those ranks, and other people get to hear us, and we get to get more of you gamers in here in the discussion.
That's right.
If you like us a lot, though, if you want to take your support the extra mile, that step further, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations, where you can kick us a couple of bucks a month, get exclusive access to this week. We're going to upload the Conbrosations podcast, our no-filtered podcast.
It was really good.
Had special guest Tyler this week, in person from Australia, all the way over to here. It was a really good time. I think it was.
It was really good.
And at the $5 tier, you get this podcast the day it's recorded, and don't have to wait until Saturday.
Like
and,
a pleb.
Innit? Yeah, and you get your name read out as a true gamer, because that's what you are, son.
True gamers.
Just like Gams Master, Sheps is crusty right now, Isak Manny, The Bat Fan, Adam Sunling, Clark53, Mikey T, Sab2557, Cats Coral, Joe McCormack, Super Whale Band, hashtag the Boys Season 3 stream cut. Hashtag make the nice guys too, please, for the love of holy fuck Hollywood. Gerald Tucker, Fishy, The Jackal, John Infinite, Max H, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, and Alpha Aquila. He's become a true gamer. This guy became last week before he came to the meetup. I think he did that on purpose so he can be
definitely.
Like, I can't let these guys know that I'm not a true gamer.
Talking about the meetup.
Yes.
EGX.
Oh wait, just before you say it, if you guys don't want to support us, however, monetarily, no problem.
We don't love you. Don't worry. Get fricked. You're not welcome at the next meetup.
The thing I'm about to say is a lie. It's totally fine. We care about you. We love you, and you just being here is totally cool. That really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. That's cool.
But thank you so much for everyone's support. Yes, so EGX, the meetup.
Yeah, a little bit of context.
Happened.
EGX is like the biggest gaming convention. Certainly the biggest in the UK. It's the biggest or second biggest in Europe.
Second biggest in Europe. I think Gamescom's number one in Europe, and then this comes afterwards.
EGX. So
yeah, so it's a big event in the UK.
Yeah.
Last year was a little bit lackluster because of the just coming off of COVID.
lackluster.
A lot of bit lackluster. This year was a lot better. There was a lot more people there.
It's still not 2019. I think our first meetup was 2019, and that was so good.
Prior to the meetup, PlayStation was everywhere, Xbox was everywhere. For better or for worse, Ubisoft was everywhere. And because the pandemic forced them to make their own announcements, their own shows, PlayStation has just pulled out of every show.
Yeah. Their pull-out game is strong.
Exactly, their pull-out game is strong. It's just not. It's not the same as those days again. But it was still a lot better, and we had a good time. I really enjoyed seeing everyone. It was so cool. We went for Nando's. We went to a gaming bar afterwards. Didn't realize it was quite a club.
Yeah,
I thought it was more of a.
That's the thing. If we'd have known, we would have planned it better. We went to. I think you'd found it in your picture. It was like it's a bar. And they have like OG games there. And we turned up and it was more of a nightclub where there were some OG games. Yeah. And that meant that the fact that we turned up at the time that we did and on the day that we did, it was much busier. It was popping. It was cool. Yeah. But we probably would have turned up an hour or two earlier to actually get on the games because we're gaming.
Yeah, I wish I'd stuck to the original plan. The original plan was to go to that platform place, which had food and table service and then games nearby, and then we were going to go to this one. Then it would have been a bit better because I felt like we could have sat down and we could have just chilled and talked a little bit. But because we went straight to this and it's like loud music and a dark room with black lights everywhere that were really bright for some reason.
And always focused at your eyes.
Right into your face. And I was like, we sound like old men here.
We are.
Anyway, but it was still a fun time. It was great to see these retro games that we hadn't seen in forever. Yeah. It was fucking cool. Silent Scope, Time Crisis, Street Fighter.
It was cool. Great. It was cool. The meetup was good fun. Yeah. There was we made a bunch of relationships. Frick. I got the podcast stuff. Talking amongst yourself. I got the social media managers for a bunch of guys like Die by the Blade, and I keep forgetting to bring them. Because we need to obviously reach out because they were saying, you can take over the Twitch channel on certain days and stuff like that.
Yeah, for us. You saw Die by the Blade there and you had a big old conversation with them and orgasmed all the way through it.
Yeah, I was literally the guy was like, I can tell you about the project. I was like, you don't need, I'll let you speak, but I know all about the project.
I'll tell you about the project.
I know all about the project. Please feel free to say whatever you want to say.
So do you want to explain for the guys what Die by the Blade is in case
Die by the Blade, imagine a fighting game like Tekken meets the duels from Ghost of Tsushima, but it's 1v1 and it's one hit kill. So it's actually got a really interesting combat system where you can go into 3 stances forward, up, and down.
Yeah.
And then you can match the other person. If you match their stance, it gives you a better chance of blocking their attack. But obviously, they have a higher chance of blocking your attack. So you want to block. You want to match their stance to block and change stance to attack. Yeah. It's just I see this being a very, very high skill game because you only get 1 HP.
Yeah.
So it's just it just I don't know. It speaks to me. I dig it. Good.
I liked it the little bit that we played there. I was like, this is.
And also,
good.
you know, I was speaking to Peter, I think his name was the guy that was running the booth, and he was saying, yeah, we're totally implementing like it's specifically for stuff. So like we want people to be able to set up tournaments and LAN competitions, all that stuff. Like that's what it's for. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. I want to do like a leaderboard for like our Discord and stuff. I want to do like you know like an EGX benefit or something, so everybody can fight for like pride of place next EGX or something like that. Yeah. We'll bring them a T-shirt or something, right? Something.
Why couldn't Insomniac implement this?
Right, Insomniac.
God, they just don't know what they're doing over there.
They should have got Sucker Punch to do it.
Exactly. Sucker Punch would have
nailed it.
Infamous
guys, yeah. I freaking hate it. Also because I will say, like, on a personal thing, I would prefer the Ghost of Tsushima duels. Personally.
Yeah.
But this is as close as it looks like I'm ever going to freaking get.
Yeah.
And it looks great. And I loved actually speaking to those guys at, was it Quali? I think it was the name of the publishing house overall.
The publisher,
like they worked with very small developer teams. So I think Die by the Blade was 7. There was a Doom-looking FPS game.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, alien thing. That was made by 3 people. One of the games, there was like an on-the-beat alien shooter where you had to shoot based on the music that was playing. And that was like a one-man passion project.
That's
like,
crazy.
It was cool, man. And so I keep forgetting to bring that stuff. We need to email their social media guy.
Yes.
And he was saying as well, because I was being upfront because we were speaking to Pete. I was speaking to Pete for like 2 hours. Sorry, Pete. And he was like, "You need to speak to our social media guy." And I'm like, "We're not influencers. Like we're not
massive. We don't have any influence to influence."
Right. And he was like, "It doesn't. They don't care." And I spoke to the social media guy, and he was like, "Yeah, we'd want to see you grow with us. We don't want 100,000 sub Twitch channels."
Mr. Beast, no.
Right. I mean, they're not going to turn it down. But he was like, the point of this initiative is to take channels, actually smaller than ours, and you grow with it. Like you can use our games. We get the exposure, but we want to do those competitions. Like there's things where I think it was him. He said. There was this one gaming PC giveaway, and a guy won it, but his stream size was too small, and they didn't give him the PC.
What?
Because he only had like 500 followers.
Oh wait, was it streamed and it was like a big old controversy?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah,
it was like some guy who started like an artisan gaming PC thing like that, and apparently his following was too small, and then he got in a bunch of shit for it. I think that company closed down because of that.
Yeah,
nobody wants to.
Yeah, he was like, "That's not what we're about. That's the whole point of this initiative. Is look, if you've got 12 followers, like you're gonna take over the Twitch stream, and you might only get up to like 100 viewers, but you might also get 100 followers out of it. Like we want you to grow and use our games as a platform. That way, you love our games. The people you watch love our games. We all go together." And I was like. That's exactly what I want to be part of. Like, I don't care if we're like on the upper end or lower end of it. I care that that's the right way to do these things.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it was cool.
Can I vent some shit about some people?
Sure.
So we went to the event. We were there for 2 days. The first day, we go right into the first area, and there's some VR stations set up.
Oh god, yeah. Oh.
And we saw this one game. Apparently, there's a dedicated Peaky Blinders game coming out.
VR game, yeah.
Not a Peaky Blinders fan myself. Never watched the show. Apparently, it's good. I've never, but I just don't have the time. That's the thing. I can't even watch Edgerunners for God's sake.
Right. Just skip the intro. Skip the outro.
Apparently, it's really good, and I wanted to try it. I didn't go in there with any sort of like I'm better than anyone or I deserve special
No, we queued
treatment.
up.
I just queued up and I asked to play. And there was like a 5-minute demo they said. It's like, yeah, we can put you in, no problem. When I was waiting for it...
Chris came over to meet us there. And
That-
then the guy was like, oh,
and
are
the
you...
camera was out as well.
That's right.
And then the social media woman, I guess, the guy who works there, she goes, "Oh, are you guys press?" And we're like, "We haven't got press passes this year, but we are here to like check out and talk about on our podcast and stuff like that." And they're like, "Oh, you guys need to go on the 20-minute press version of this."
There's a for the public 5-minute version and then a 20-minute with all like the frills and whistles and stuff.
Right.
You've
And was
gotta
like,
do it.
I was like, I don't want to impose. I don't want to make a big old scene and whatnot. If it's a big issue, then I don't care. Blah blah blah. But I mean, if I get to see a better version, then I'm cool with that. I like my VR and I want to see this game. I bet see the best version.
Yeah.
They go, okay, we'll get you on. Waited a little bit, then they're like, oh, actually, can you come back in about an hour's time?
Yeah.
We go away, we come back in an hour's
No,
time.
it's worse than that. We went away, we struck up conversation with some incredible cosplayers.
Which we'll talk about them in a second.
Yeah, and then had to cut it short because we realised we had like a meeting basically.
We was like right in the middle. We're like, oh shit, we need to be somewhere. Sorry guys, the great people that we've just met that we really want to stay in touch with.
Yeah.
That we actually care about.
And whose projects we would like to do something with, help in some way. Not like be on, like we want to help.
Just be there.
Production, something.
And then we leave and we go back and they're like, oh, turns out we're not ready for you. Can you come back later on in the day around like 4:30? Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, I'm hungry anyway, so I'll go get some food. We got some food, played some other games, went around, did some stuff. And then we come back at 4:30. Oh, can you wait another 20 minutes? This guy's just got on, and he's doing the 20-minute demo. We go again, come back in 20 minutes, and they're like, "Oh,
battery just died.
Battery just died. Are you here tomorrow at all?" And then I'm like, you know what? I think at this point I'm just, all I wanted to do was play the 5-minute demo. You're forcing me into the 20-minute one, and I can't even get onto that one now.
Right.
I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this right now.
Yeah.
And then we just said, you know what? Forget it.
The thing is, like, even with when we had press passes, because we do sometimes we apply for them, sometimes we get them. We don't have any problems queuing.
I've never been like,
we're British. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
You queue.
Exactly. Sometimes you see a queue in Britain, you're like, oh shit, we're queuing up here. Let's just jump in. Let's see what happens.
On that day, we saw a queue and we were like, are we supposed to stand in this? What was it for? It was like the Lava Cup. It was Federer's last match, I think it was.
Yeah, the Lava Club, whatever it was. Yeah,
and we saw this massive queue and we were like, oh shit, is this to get in? Do we stand here?
Do we need to stand here?
Luckily we didn't, because we would have just queued for like 3 hours.
Yeah, our British instinct was just like, let's do it.
So like,
guys.
we don't have any problem queuing, even if we have like fast passes and stuff like that. Like if it's queue, it's queue. It's not a big deal.
But it just ended up like messing us around.
Yeah, they were just messing us around.
Anyway, that happened and that was really annoying.
Talking up some people.
Yes. So we met just by chance. We
Yeah,
were just walking around.
Yeah.
We just bumped into one guy dressed as Joel. And
it was the clicker that caught one of our attentions.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, caught our attention. But then we started speaking to Joel. That's how it was. One guy dressed up as Joel, and he was with a person dressed up as a clicker, a person dressed up as Ellie, a person dressed up as Abby, and they were going around as sort of like this quartet of like Last of Us super fans dressed up in the most amazing cosplay. So cool, so amazing. The guys are called Spores Productions if you want to go find them, and I'll tell you their individual stuff in a second.
It turns out they had just been like, they'd been cosplayers like on Instagram because they liked it, had got together without ever knowing each other for a photo shoot because of this photographer who, and then on the day they were like, oh, we should maybe make a short movie. Enjoyed it so much they went off and made a 26-minute short Last of Us short movie. Yeah. And then we're like, let's keep doing this. And then they made something for Detroit Become Human. Yeah. They have another project in the work that I forgot already.
Can't say.
Oh yeah, we couldn't talk about that. They're not allowed to talk about it, so we definitely don't know what it was. Like, it was awesome, and we wanted to be a part of it, not like to shoehorn our way in, but we were like, it was so cool that they were doing it. Can we help in any way?
It was it was a combination of like how it came up. So like we just met them just by chance, which was fucking incredible. And then the way you saw their cosplays, how much effort they put into every single little bit, the scars, the tattoos of Ellie, Abby, the girl that's playing Abby, what's her name? Nikki, I think her name was, something like that. She's like a power lifter in amateur power lifter in real life. So she thought that was the best character for her. You got
Hattie, who was the clicker, who, oh, by the way, an incredible cosplay. She was Link the next day, and like she made the chainmail for that. It was made
night and day. I was like, hold on a second.
Oh yeah, I didn't recognize her.
I didn't know it was her.
Yeah, she recognized us, so she was like, you know, it's me, and I'm like, pardon me? She's like, I was the clicker. I was like,
this is what I'm saying. People have like a type. They're like, so for me, for example, I'd go for someone that kind of looks like me. Maybe if I was to do a cosplay, I'd maybe do Nathan Drake, similar in that sort of area.
I think you make
then maybe I'd do a Joel or something like that.
That
she just completely changed into a different category.
Well, one, she went from a clicker to a dude.
Yeah.
You know?
An elf dude.
It was amazing. She's incredible. And it was such a weird compliment, but I was like, standing next to her, I was like, in the best way possible, I can't tolerate being near you. You're nightmare fuel.
Too good.
I literally said that to her face. I was like, you're
clicker is too much.
Deeply disturbing me. And it was amazing. In particular, like her clicker face stuff, by the way, it had a jaw. I don't know if you saw that. It was disgusting. But the like injuries, the flesh flaps and stuff were horrific.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And then the next day she was Link and won the pro division of the cosplay competition. Which she deserved so good.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's
planning on doing Garrus, by the way, from Mass Effect. And I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. She was like, yeah, I'm going to be 7 foot tall. I'm like, Hattie, you're my height. You know?
I don't know
She was like, oh, I have stilts and stuff. I was like,
stay in touch. Maybe you guys can work something out. Maybe we can figure out how to do that as well.
Right, yeah, same. Same. Well, that's interesting you say that, because I also identify as 7 foot tall, so if we can make this happen.
Yeah, that's going to be incredible. Yeah. I bet she's going to do an amazing job.
Now I want to do a Commander Shepard cosplay, and then I said, you're making me want to do this, and I'm going to run around every Garrus I see, like, Hattie, just yelling your name at people
just
to see if it's
Garrus
you.
Face. Yeah. You can't tell what the fuck it is. Hattie, is that you? Hattie.
And she won't remember me either. That would be the thing, innit? Because she obviously, just like us, if you speak to
1,000 people.
Yeah, you speak to 1,000 people, and like next year we won't. Like, for example, we speak to devs, so maybe we see the same games there, but we won't remember anybody's name because we speak to 100 devs or 100 teams, and I might remember that I spoke to you, but I don't remember your name, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really awkward for me.
Yeah. But oh my god, I remember you. I've been thinking about you every day since we met.
Oh, that came out strange.
Sorry, I mean...
it's accurate, but not the way I meant it to come out. No, the whole group was really amazing. And then the next day, Abby, who was cosplaying as Ellie the first day, not Abby.
Yeah, her name is Abby, but she was cosplaying as Ellie.
Which was, by the way, fantastic. The next day she was Atreus, and that was incredible.
Another night and day change.
Yeah, it was...
Because she also shaved down her head to be the Atreus hair.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Yeah, it's...
crazy. Like, this
is mental. Also, she had to... I don't know how she did it, but she had to swap tattoos because she had Ellie tattoos the first day and then Atreus tattoos the next day.
Afterwards.
Anyway,
she just got them lasered off and then put a new.
They were cool, and to be clear, so we're not just gushing over them because they were cosplay people. Because there were some other incredible cosplayers. There was my favorite. I tweeted out the Gundam cross with Sailor Moon. That was so cool, and it was really high quality. That was amazing. But the thing that really set these guys apart, one was we were talking about games with them, obviously, super passionate.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were like, we've started making stuff. We made a production company. We have no idea what we're doing, and we started making movies because we love it.
It was that thing that we have when we have a new project, something like that. Yeah. It's this genuine love, genuine passion, genuine drive to do something really cool. You don't know where it's going to land, but you're going to put your best into it. Right. And it was a group of random people that just got together because they all do cosplay together. It was so goddamn cool and refreshing.
It really was. Well, like, I think I said it to one of them, but like, you speak to people on like the PR team at one of these things, and like, tell me about the project, and like, I don't know anything about it. I'm just here to like help people
Hand
get
out
into
cards.
to hand out cards, or to help, you know, with the queue, or get you like onto the VR stuff. I don't know what we're talking, you know, or like, oh yeah, it's a game about this and this. Oh, what was the process for that? Oh, I don't know. You know, they don't know anything about it, which is, you know, fair enough. A lot of these people, it's just a job.
Yeah.
This is what they happen to work in. I get it, but you speak to this group of people, Spores Productions, and they're like, every single one of them has experiences and passion and something that they want to do on the side, not on the side, but like as well, or a project. I think we mentioned, I forget what game we mentioned. We mentioned Uncharted to Joel.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Was it Ben or something?
It might have been Ben.
I know it's a Lying Cat Cosplay.
Yeah.
Is his cosplay name and whatnot. Fan.
And he was like, yeah, I love those games. Like, I'd love to do stuff like that. And they all were like, oh, you know, like, okay, was it Nikki who did the Abby cosplay? She was like, she could have been anybody, but she was into lifting, and so like I really felt like Abby was the right choice. It wasn't. There were like reasons to being Abby, as well as, and they all said like, and we agree, like Abby's a great character, handled a little bit poorly, but
I was gonna say when they were on stage and they were talking about their show and stuff like that, and that showed even more passion for it and stuff like that. I was thinking of questions to ask to, like, you know, be the usual Eddie that I am, try and be funny, and I was like thinking, was there a moment where you guys were crying a bit like Troy Baker did when he was doing the acting? And they already said there was moments where they just needed a minute, where they needed to go out of the room when they were acting out their Last of Us movie, which, by the way, if you want to search for it, it's called All We Lost. If you type in the Last of Us fan film, All We Lost, it's one right there. You can check that out.
I need
Very
to watch
good.
it. I haven't seen it. I just haven't had the time.
It's quite hardcore. It's quite hardcore.
I bet.
And I asked them, I was like, as a joke, I was like, did you guys hate Abby at the end of it as much as everyone else did? Sort of like, and I meant it as haters in like for killing Joel.
Yeah.
Not haters in the haters. Because that's dumb.
Oh, we don't hate Abby.
No, exactly.
She's a great character.
No one hates Abby.
Yeah.
It's just
only people that haven't played the game have that opinion. Yeah.
Exactly. And they were talking about it. I was like, and they sort of made me open my eyes to how it could be as well. They were like, obviously, to play these characters, you have to get into the mind of the characters. And then, like, even Joel, the guy who played Joel,
the song,
he was like, the song that's played in was it Future Days or something like that. It's like, that's the song they play in the game. Obviously, we didn't want to have the exact same song playing in the game, so I went on a whole, like, I am Joel, I am thinking about him, what music would he listen to, and he went on a whole bunch of music and found a different song that fit just perfectly.
But it wasn't just the song. It's like he said, so here's the deal, right? We have an idea of what Joel's music taste is, an idea.
Yeah.
But, like, Joel's been through all this stuff in his life, and he never actually talks about it. Yeah. Like, we know that he cares. We see that he cares. And he's a man of action. And how does he share stuff with Ellie? It's through music. And why is this song the song that he picks? So, like, he can't communicate this stuff. He's no good at that. So he does it through music. And that's why the song is the song that he picks. So what would be another song that he would pick to say stuff that he can't say himself?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that thought process, right? And I like the idea of not being like, oh, we'll just use a song because I like it, or we'll just use a song because I think it fits. But like, what would he pick?
Yeah,
you know,
such a cool way of doing it.
It was,
and they did the same for Abby as well. They were like what's her motivation? How's she thinking? And then they explained it in a way, and I was like, shit. Yeah, I kind of understand Abby a bit more now. This was quite an interesting way to think about it, and that's what the fan film does. It makes you see a different perspective and different view on things and whatnot.
Also, it's interesting because those were sort of our complaints of Abby and how I liked Abby, but she was just handled poorly in the game. You know, like they tried to make us like her, which I think they shouldn't have tried to make us like. We would have liked her more and quicker. And we don't get to go through that, what it's like to be Abby so much. We just get thrown in as Abby, you know, and then you realize that she's a pretty well written character. Like, it's all that stuff of what would she do? It's that thought process was good. I liked to hear that they were like, oh, we're not just doing it because we like the way that it looks and I like the game. It's like, how can I add on to this? How can I write something that is true to these characters as they would be when we're doing it? Not just like Joel that you meet at the beginning of The Last of Us is a totally different person, totally different to the Joel we see at the end, you know?
Yeah.
And and well, it's just good. I just
so
enjoy people that have actual passion and do something about it.
Yeah,
you know,
unlike us.
Yeah, right. Imagine.
If you guys want to go follow them on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, the one who played Ellie and played Atreus,
we can put their stuff in the.
Oh, it's true. We can put I'll put it in the description. I'll also, by the time this comes out, I'll have tweeted about stuff that happened at EGX and things like that.
Yeah.
So you guys will see all that stuff. Yeah, they are fantastic cosplayers. They're fantastic people. They were great all around. Really cool. It was so cool meeting them all and hearing how passionate they are about it. It was fantastic.
They were really cool.
It was the highlight of the show. I didn't enjoy meeting our fans, however.
That sucked.
That really sucked. It was a drag.
Especially Chris. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that guy. That guy just. Oh, and then
his friends were all right though.
Yeah. His friends are trophy hunters. Of course they are right.
God damn it! I forgot about that.
That was the best bit. Chris was like, his mate was trying to convince him. It's like, yeah, if you don't get the platinum trophy, then what's the point in playing the game? Like, what do you even have fun? And I'm just there like, thank you, a sane person in this world. No, but me and the guys were so cool as well. We had so much fun just like shooting the shit, going around, checking out all the stores and talking about all kinds of games and all kinds of crap. It was a really good time. And then hanging out as well afterwards, like Nando's and just being bros.
It was good, man.
And it was a good feeling of like that. It's that feeling of community that you want, just like guys talking and being friends and everything like that. It was so cool.
It was a good meetup.
Yeah.
It was good. And also last year the meetup was great meeting the guys, but EGX was a bit of a flop.
Yeah.
And this year there was much more sort of there.
Yeah.
Well, my voice is still battered because we had to speak up over the crowd, which we really didn't have to in 21. And I'm glad that like there was stuff going, you know, weird stuff. Like I can't believe that there were queues for like Modern Warfare 2 open beta. Like the beta, it's out there. You can just play it.
3 things were dumb. There was that Wulong demo that is again, it's out free on PlayStation.
Yeah. So there's a multiverse or something. I forget what's
multiverse as well, but
multiverses. At
least that was a bit smaller.
But it's out.
Yes, true. Call of Duty beta again. It's an open beta. You can play that anytime you want.
Yeah.
Why would you go to a convention that you paid for and waste time waiting for it?
Yeah.
And it had one of the bigger queues as well. So it was
one of the biggest queues. Yeah.
And then another one. Granted, I like the game. I think it's quite fun. But it's very unique and it requires time for you to sit down. House Flipper 2.
House Flipper, yeah.
And I'm like, this is a cool game, great. But this is not an event game. This is not a come to EGX. Bro, let's sit down and talk about how cool this game is right now.
What do you think? Tile or wallpaper?
Right? I was like, what's wrong with you people? And then again, one of the bigger lines. I was like,
I was thinking for the carpets, either beige or eggshell. What do you think?
Right? This is like going to an event and playing Civilization. It's like, yo, this is a 12-hour game. Let's not do this now, fam.
I gotta say though, I am digging the rise of these like stupid games like Goat Simulator, Lawnmower, whatever it is, Power Washer Simulator, Home Flipper, like House Flipper, whatever it's called. Like something about those silly, quirky games is where they're just sort of honest fun. What it is like The Sims, but good.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Sorry, Katie. But like, it's just stupid and fun and silly. And I like gaming can be all things, and I think it's forgot that it can be silly and fun. Yeah. Like, did you ever play Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64? Like way back in the day.
I remember that game.
Mate, there's one point where you have to fight a giant shit, and it sings you a song about being a giant angry poo.
A giant shit or a ship? Did
shit.
You say? Oh,
poo.
good. Oh,
a giant poo.
Lovely.
And it sings about being a shit. It was just fun and quirky and stupid. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited for games like Squirrel with a Gun and was it Holy Hell Hotel?
Yeah.
Is it called Holy
Hell?
Hotel?
I think it was Bloody Hell.
Bloody Hell Hotel, yeah, something like that.
Because when I typed in what you said last time, it did come on.
I think you might write Bloody Hell Hotel, which basically is like you play as basically Dracula opening up a B&B.
Yeah.
And there's all this, like there's this crazy cow in it that's hilarious, and you have sort of like, you know, vampire magical powers to like fix up the place, but you can't just eat everybody because the hotel success,
no business.
People only pay when they leave. So, like, you have to mix a match between being a vampire and eating people and getting their money and fixing up the hotel so that you can get more people in, so that you can eat more and fix up the hotel more. Like, I think quirky, silly games we could really do with a few. I love the third person story driven, character focused RPGs. I love them. I'm looking forward to Ragnarok. I'm looking forward to Horizon 15 Dawn, whatever it is, right? But we can also have quirky, silly stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to see quirky, silly stuff. That Rick and Morty game. Not Rick and Morty, but you know what I mean.
I know what
What's
you
it
mean.
called?
Something about a hole, a ring,
Basically,
High on Life.
High on Life. Like, we could do with just some silly games like that.
Yeah.
Life of Pi. Yeah.
Life of Pi.
Yeah. Classic. So, I really do want games to... I feel that games sort of follow the trend too much. So, like, Ubisoft were just like, oh, The Witcher 3, we'll just make everything like that. We'll try and emulate it, right? As an example. And then a bunch of games try and do that same thing and make everything open world. And it doesn't have to be, right? And I really do wish it was like, no, we can make a Sunset Overdrive that works, or a Saints Row that's good, and just be silly and funny, and that's okay. And it's fine that GTA is there, and it's fine that God of War Ragnarok's coming out, because we're doing something different.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell a story like that. We're just about fun. Ragnarok's a different kind of fun, right? The Last of Us 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't think fun is the word I would use for it, though.
Not the word exactly, no.
You know?
No.
Like Cyberpunk, best dating sim I've ever played.
Exactly. You said about how like Ubisoft followed the trend of like whatever The Witcher did and whatnot. I can't wait now for them to follow the trend of what Cyberpunk did and to make an anime of like Assassin's Creed in order to bring people into it.
Didn't they do one for The Witcher, though? They did a Vesemir anime, didn't they? And I keep meaning to watch it. It's called like The Way of the Wolf or something.
I don't know, but that's at least that's CDPR doing it. I'm waiting for, but it didn't also have the explosive effect that this did. I'm waiting for Ubisoft to say, so you have to make an anime of something and make it open world and RPG. All right, well let's go then, eh?
Nightmare of the Wolf is what it's called, and it's about young Vesemir, I think. Yeah, Vesemir slays monsters for coin and glory, blah blah blah. I am concerned that that people with enough money are gonna basically just commission animes of their shit games.
Yeah.
The thing is with Cyberpunk is they didn't just make an anime for edgerunners.
Yeah.
They told a great story, and it's not perfect. I feel like the pacing's a little rushed. It has problems. Everything has, but nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But like they just told a banging story with a banging freaking studio, and apparently as well one of the fan favorites in the shows, a girl named Rebecca, a woman named Rebecca, and apparently CDPR were like, no, get rid of her. And Studio Trigger, who are the guys that made it, they were like, no, the lolly stays. She's a lolly, basically. She's a
What's a lolly?
Lolita. It's like she looks much younger than she is.
Oh, okay.
So she's short and childish, but she's a woman.
Okay.
It's just a thing, and it's a big trope in anime. And they were like, no, she stays. And she's like the fan favorite.
Okay.
Everybody loves her. She's great. Also, she makes no sense. She's this tiny little girl who rocks...
anime, nothing makes sense.
She's a tiny little girl who rocks like a chain gun. That's her like chosen weapon. It's ridiculous. But like, they made a great story with great characters, animated it fantastically, and just told a freaking story. And it happened to be set in a world where you recognize the layout because it's in Night City. We know our way around Night City. Like, that's what you need to do. And I'm not against shows making anime for them because they can be amazing. But you got to get good house, have a good tell a good story.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about the same characters that we know from the game.
And try to distract people as much as possible from the fact that it's animated. Just try to do
right,
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Have you seen... stupid. I was going to say, have you seen Castlevania?
Only the first episode.
That's really good. And that's much more like a cartoon than it is an anime.
Yeah.
Like, it looks similar to anime. It's a similar visual style of like drawing the characters and stuff, but it's a Western cartoon.
It doesn't do the ridiculous At least in the first episode it did.
Not in the first episode. But that's fantastic. And I think that style of show, because actually Edgerunners they're quite close. Doing something like that, where you just tell a fantastic story that happens to be set in a world that we know, it's fine. As long as you're not like, oh, our game shit, we'll just make an Edgerunners for it. That's not going to work. You know? Yeah. By the time Edgerunners came out, Cyberpunk was fixed. Like, it functions properly as a game. Yeah. Enough time had passed. Also, it was not... Making anime is not a short thing. Like, that was probably commissioned very early on. I wouldn't be shocked if that wasn't commissioned before the game had come out.
The time it takes to draw boobs is just... terrible. Too much time.
Right. Also, you got to change the color palette, because, you know, some of these girls have, like, the vibro boobs or whatever. They changed colors and stuff. So...
There you go. Super well, Ben.
Vibro boobs.
Writes in.
What is my life?
It's okay. It's your search history. I know. And he says, I know this is not exactly gaming, but it counts because I say so. Because he says so, it counts. Would love to hear your thoughts about The Last of Us TV show teaser. Your answer will determine if I continue to support your channel or not. So how did you feel about the Last of Us TV show teaser that came out?
I'm in a weird spot because I was really concerned about it, and I think Mario was as well, because we'd seen some stills and it looked really clean, and that it's not supposed to be clean. It's a post-apocalyptic setting, and clean is not what you're looking for post-apocalypse. I think the show looks really good.
Yeah,
I think it looks really good. I think visually it's on point. I don't doubt that Frick, I forget their names, Pedro Pascal and who's the one that was the little girl from Game of Thrones?
Begins with an E.
Yes, it does. I don't doubt that they're both very talented. Well, we know Pedro Pascal is very talented. I think they can do it. It looks good. On the other hand, this is the one show that was always going to have the easiest time to look right.
This was the easiest one, right? This was the one to get right. But I don't want to take anything away from them because, to be fair, that's the... yeah, it's still a video game adaptation. It's still a very difficult thing. It's something that we haven't managed to nail.
Yeah.
So if they get it... God, what is her name?
Also, the clicker looks horrendous in the best way possible.
Yes, so do you want to can I say a little bit here? Is that okay? So I really liked this trailer. The amount of similarities between the Last of Us game and the TV show shows that they are treating the source material with respect, that they're not just trying to throw it to the side and do their own version of things, and which is stupid because it comes from something that's what it's supposed to be.
We were worried about that because I think Pedro Pascal had said he wanted to put his own spin on Joel.
Yeah, like he didn't play the game. It's like, I didn't want to play the game, so I get my own preconceived notions of what it is.
Right.
And I think he said he watched the first hour of it and then he sort of like, that's it. That's all he did. So
I worry about that because he doesn't know Joel's a bad guy. Joel is a very, very bad man. He's just on our side.
Hopefully the writing in the script tells him that. So
that's the thing is, like, and if you're an actor, your job is to act. You don't have to have any connection with the source material. If you're a good actor, it will still come through because the director and the script will tell you what to do.
Yeah, the director's really supposed to know everything, and then they direct you in that direction. Oh my god, it's like almost like a director. I really liked it. Even just keeping the logo the same as The Last of Us showed me that they're not trying to throw away what was there before, and seeing Neil Druckmann's name on the producers list and stuff like that. Ashley Johnson was actually in the trailer for a brief moment of an explosion. I saw so cool. I really did like it, and as you said, the clicker design absolutely nailed it.
Also, I never understood the I'm usually on the team of, like, for example, if don't recast Captain America to, for example, be black or Asian, right? He's an American guy, likely to be white, and in the canon, he's white. Joel is, like, white. We're actually never told, we assume, from the games, and people are like, oh, Pedro Pascal's Guatemalan, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Dude's from Texas.
Yeah.
Like we have no idea, and he could well be Latin. Like that has never been an issue for me.
He just looks similar enough, yeah.
Yeah, like I think he looks great.
I think he looks very.
He looks very
good.
Joel.
He did a good job.
Like in the in the games he's whiter, but who gives a shit? You know, like he's Joel. We're not talking about. This isn't like casting Chris Evans as T'Challa. You know, this isn't that big a departure. He's from Texas. He's got the right look. Importantly, he's got the right ability.
The voice. How he managed to change his voice to sound like that was incredible. And I think I was sold from that point on. I was like, whoa, that was unexpected. And then just seeing the rest of the trailer was just
It's that bit where he turns around and says that you've no idea what loss is.
Yeah. Oh,
such a good scene as well.
Can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
The problem is I'm trying not to get my hopes up because I am a little worried. Because we've been let down by so many things. And I can see this being the worst case as we get it comes out and it's great, which is good for us, but then it gives us false hope about the other projects and they just shit the bed and they're more like the Uncharted movie than they are what they intended to be. Do you know what I mean? I guess we'll see. So far, I think everything looks really good. I think... Yeah. I mean... The idea that people are going to complain that they don't look right, did you find that girl's name? The girl playing Ellie.
No.
Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Like she doesn't look like Ellie from the from the game, or like Ashley Johnson. So what? You know, like
Bella Ramsey.
Why do we think it is?
It's got an E in there somewhere.
There's an E in there. There's at least one E.
Two E's in there.
I don't care that she's not identical.
Like it's E because it's Ellie.
Right. Oh God. Like
we're idiots.
I've seen people say, "Oh, she doesn't look right." Like she's a human being. I'd rather have a better actress who's not exactly picture perfect than have someone picture perfect that can't act for shit. Yeah. Like I don't care about that. So as long as it works, and I hope it does. Also, this is the project that I care the most about.
Yeah. Well, I care the most about the God of War one, but God knows that's got trouble written all over it. That's going to be difficult, especially because I don't see. I was having a conversation with this about with Sophie. The only person that I could maybe possibly see getting into that role is maybe Jason Momoa, because at least he's
as Kratos,
because at least he can do a deeper voice and he's got the build for it.
I still think Christopher Judge.
Well, this is the thing, but we can't have him. We can't.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I've let that go because it's an impossibility. That's the only reason.
Why not do The Rock? He can be like, boy, come try this branded drink. One sip of this and we'll certainly defeat the Aesir.
The power levels of a God of War have changed. Right. God damn it. If he gets anywhere near it, I'll run away. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can see. But that's more scary than this one. I love where this is going. I hope you guys are excited as well. This will be a whole big thing when it comes out. 2023, no official release date, but 2023.
Yeah. Also, I can't wait for people to complain that Ellie's gay. Oh, it's so woke. She's been gay since 2013, boys. Fucking relax.
That's gonna be the funny point.
She was always gay.
That's gonna be the funny point because it's gonna separate exactly the morons of the internet and the people of the internet who are just sane-minded. People who are like, oh my God, another bit of a book. Yeah, she was always like that. It was written from the beginning.
She's always been that way. The girl that shanks that policeman in the neck.
All great.
Always into chicks. Literally since day one.
It's going to be so funny. Okay.
But that will show people that are looking for a reason to be upset rather than have any connection with the show at all. You know?
It will.
Because
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't come around often that you have these opportunities.
Exactly.
And this will be a very clear-cut case.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait to post up some 2013 PS3 footage of Left Behind. You know,
dickhead.
Like literally a decade old. Here you go. 2 generations ago.
Okay. Let's read the next comment. Okay, BS Bro, he did write in asking us a question about our coolest game that we saw at EGX, not counting Sonic Frontiers, obviously. Sonic Frontiers was really dumb because it had a massive line.
Massive.
They only had I think it was partly due to they didn't have that many consoles out there. It was like 2 on each side or something like that. But anyway, huge queue, and I was like, I'm not going to waste my time to play the worst game, objectively, the worst game that's going to come out.
Do you know what's funny about Sonic Frontiers?
Go on.
Visually, it looked great.
Yeah.
makes no freaking sense for Sonic. It looked awful to play. It was trash.
We saw it over people's shoulders. I'm like, this doesn't look like Sonic.
It doesn't. Also, it doesn't look fun.
It doesn't look fun at all.
There's nothing. You're not doing anything. It doesn't make sense. It's not good. Didn't look good. And luckily, everybody that was there sort of saw it and was like, well, I think Juice was making the joke, oh, I'm going to go check out Sonic. I don't think he actually did it. But like, you could see it. It doesn't look right. It doesn't make sense. It's weird.
Get it. Just go back to the drawing board. He also says Netflix seems to be getting more and more into indie games, which is awesome. I'm loving them, but feel bad since I get them for free because I'm not paying for the subscription. But I guess they'll still get paid, just not from me particularly. Oh, you got the...
Just to quickly go back to Last of Us, like people complaining, oh, he's Latino. Is it Latino? He's Guatemalan, right? I don't know if that's the same. But like, he looks great.
For those of you guys in the audio listeners, it's the evolution of Joel from 2013 to the Last of Us Part 1 that was done recently, and then
Pedro Pascal as Joel.
And he looks...
I'm going to retweet it.
Looks almost identical. Yeah,
he's incredible. He looks incredible. And the big thing, I think, is it's in his eyes. I think... He's got the right amount of grey. He's at like the right age for it.
Yeah.
And
or he's had the right amount of stress in his life, which I hope that isn't true.
This is the thing: is Joel's doing really well for his grey hair, given what's happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be a fucking.
Shocker white. It'd just be nothing. If the moonlight catches you right, it'd be like you reflect a mirror.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So. Anyway, he looks great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off about freaking... Oh, shit. You good?
The moonlight catches me. I'm just imagining you like coming out of a tent and just like, oh shit, what was that?
Right. Like a spotlight shines on like some freaking infected. They look around and it's just Joel's perfectly white hair.
No, fuck, you gave us away, Joel. Oh, someone turn that dang light off. Oh, it's just being put out. Oh, God, that's so dumb and it got me. Oh, boy. Yeah, so continue on what BS Bro said here. This week, they had a game called Oxenfree, which I've heard of, actually, which is a cool thriller indie game. Ooh. Where you got on an island with your friends and discover some paranormal shit, and the game changes a bit to open up to new endings and keep it interesting after you play it for the first time, and it fits so nicely in the mystery with the mystery, so it's really cool. Definitely my favorite indie game. I'm totally buying the second one on PlayStation when it's out. That sounds like a kind of a cool game. I might need to go check that shit out. There was
Are you on Patreon or Discord?
I was gonna say there's one Patreon. Yeah. I was reading from Discord. Let me read Patreon one. Gamsmaster writes in. He says, "G'day, bros."
G'day.
He says, "I'm liking the rumours about GTA 6."
That's not Australian.
Is it not? I've got a little bit of a northern one there. Fuck it, we're going. I'm liking the rumours about GTA 6. What I should just do? Tyler taught me some slang.
Like bogan and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, did you know apparently in Australia, they have changed the sign for McDonald's to Macca's?
No, it doesn't say that.
He told me he was being serious. I was like, no, surely
I
not.
don't believe
it's a brand.
I don't believe him.
It's a logo. And he's like, no, they've changed it to
It's an M in Japan, bro. I'm not buying it.
Let me see. Macca's.
The thing is, if you want to do an Australian accent, talk amongst yourselves, boys. If you want to do an Australian accent, you have to go high pitch at the end of every vowel goes long, and you go up at the end of. It's not real, is it? No.
They've just kept the M and they put Macca's.
No. Frickin' Aussie peasants.
They're so lazy. They can't say McDonald's that they fucking forced them to change their name.
Oh no,
that's so weird.
Shit. Anyway, if you want to do Australian, all the vowels go long. You come up in pitch at the end of a sentence, so everything sounds like a question.
Question. I like that. That's really good.
And then there's something else you got to do. If you're trying to abbreviate stuff, they do abbreviate things, and usually they'll chuck O on the end of it. So like, if you're asking for like, I did hear an Australian ask for this. They asked for like if you get staff discount, they were like, can I get some staffos?
Some staffos.
Can it chuck staffos on there for us? Like. That's how they abbreviate stuff.
He actually went through a whole list of things. Like, he had it on his phone. He was like, do you know what this means? Some of them are completely ridiculous.
Like what?
So, I can't remember them all, unfortunately, but some of them sound like the word it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like Sheila, I was like, Sheila is like a name, so I can deduce that means a woman. Like, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
But even that's a little bit of a thing. But then some of them is just a random sound, a random noise that you hear in like your garage or something like that. Oh, so it fell over. They're like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, that means beer. So what? How does that make any sense whatsoever?
I love that us coming from London where we came up with rhyming slang.
Yes.
Oh, throwing shade somewhere. Also,
this
like
glass house I'm in.
like the best thing about rhyming slang is like apple and pears, stairs.
Yeah.
If you want to abbreviate apple and pears, you don't take the bit that rhymes. Right? If you're on the dog and bone, you're on the dog. Because that's how we shorten. So it doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous, but if you know it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You can sort of speak it. We're such a weird... English is the dumbest language possible.
Yes.
It's a bastard language to begin with, and then it's determined to make itself stupider.
This isn't bad enough. Let's make it worse. Anyway, back to
gaming.
I'm liking the rumors about being... rumors behind GTA 6 having some gameplay characteristics of Red Dead Redemption 2, one of which being that your car may act like your horse. Shit, is it going to run away from us? You can die.
Is it going to twerk on the spot like a roach?
Where you will have to go to the boot of the car to equip your weapons for each mission. It sounds really cool and I think a thing that'll make the game more interesting. Also, we are very, very close to Gotham Knights. No one cares.
The motorbike was cool though.
Even
EGX.
at EGX, all they had was a motorbike.
Yeah.
They
had more cosplay there though. He was the
Red Hood.
Red Hood, yeah.
I was like, do you have the game here? No, no we don't.
No. We're not going to let you see that.
There's bad vibes about this game, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Only 20 days away, depending on if it comes out. If it comes out on time, that is. He already knows. The next few months are looking awesome for gaming. Gotham Knights and MW2 in October. Sonic Frontiers, if you're that kind of game up there.
But
God of War Ragnarok in November, Forspoken in January, and of course Eddie's most anticipated game, Hogwarts Legacy in February. Oh, and Destiny 2 Lightfall, yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
You also forgot about Callisto Protocol in December, mate.
That's gonna go hard. Forspoken, I still really want it to be good, but I just don't care. And until we see something from it, or I think I'm gonna wait on that one. And unless we hear that, oh my god, the story's amazing within the first couple of days, I'm out.
Yeah, even for me that likes to be in the conversation of everything, I'm not getting it at the moment. That's not my... it looks like it's just going to be a dead flop. And sometimes if something's really bad, it can be funny and be good. Like a Saints Row would have been good for making content.
Yeah.
But this, I just feel like it's just looking bad at the moment.
I think we learned a harsh lesson in a weird way. Not harsh for us, but like... We were so wrong about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So wrong about that. That was our 2020 game of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we really, really liked that game. Despite having potentially, like, 3 game-breaking bugs for me. Like, I've really got... I had to do, like, 3 game restarts. Like, start from fresh, I mean. Not, like, turn it off and turn it back on. We were so wrong about that game. And I want to be that wrong about so many more games. I want... Marvel, not Marvels. I want freaking DC. The motorbike was there. I've already forgotten the name. Why have I forgotten the name? They teased us it was the Court of Owls. What is it? Oh god, no! Who cares? Who cares what it is?
It's the thing, bro.
Yeah, the thing. Like I want that game to be like Guardians.
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. That's it. Like I want Gotham Knights to be like our experience with Guardians of the Galaxy, where we thought it looked bad and it just happened to be really badly selected footage. Because then that would be great. We get a great game.
Yeah.
We win. So what? We look stupid on the internet. Welcome to 1,000 other hours of us looking stupid on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. So that would be good for us. Yeah. And I want Forspoken to be incredible because then it means Amy Hennig has another successful project, and she's so good with story stuff. But unless I hear it, I just... And I want to be wrong about these games. I want Forspoken to be like this out of nowhere banger. I want Gotham Knights to have had this really rocky road, and we feel weird about it. But then also, by the way, Batman's totally in it because they were handing out newspapers about Batman dead or something at the which is a bit heavy-handed. You know, it was like the headline: "Batman is dead and definitely not in the game."
Listen, you were wrong about Hydra. You're gonna be.
I feel like I've been right about Hydra this whole time.
Just hasn't been revealed yet.
Exactly. You just can't see all the moving pieces.
Still coming. That's how they got so successful.
Right.
He also says, not much gaming, but since there's no streamcast on... What? Not much gaming, but since there's no streamcast on it, what are your thoughts about... what's the House of the Dragon? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. We haven't seen it.
I haven't watched any of it, actually, just because I've been too busy with like the new channel stuff and things like that.
I've only heard good things, though. I've only heard good things. So
I've heard it's good, and I've heard, by contrast, that the Lord of the Rings show is awful.
Well, so I asked Tyler about this, unironically, and he said he'd really enjoyed the first few episodes, but he missed the last two, I think, and those two happen to have the most controversial episodes in them.
Tyler's a bit of a simp, though.
He is a bit of a simp. But I have also only heard bad things. And I don't tend to go like looking for those like content review type channels, you know, like, oh, I watched this episode, here's a breakdown. But my brother has sent me some clips because he's really into writing and how things, storytelling is done. And the breakdowns of these things did not seem to be very good. In a way that, like, something that's good that someone just doesn't like, they wouldn't be able to access it like that. They wouldn't be able to point to all the flaws like that. What's something that's perfect? Think about something that's really brilliant.
Smallville. Man of Steel. Batman vs Superman.
I'm trying to think of more of
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Perfect example. Like Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Which like largely agreed to be one of the best shows ever, right? If you didn't like it, or you didn't like the fact it was about drugs or whatever, you couldn't point to it and go, Walt's progression doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, it totally does.
Because it does, yeah.
Because it's a lot of small steps to get to be Heisenberg at the very end, right? He doesn't start there. He doesn't get there overnight. It's 4 seasons of constant struggle.
Yeah.
And he's scared the whole way. The whole way, right? Like, you couldn't look at that and go, well, this is just crap writing. You might not like it, but you couldn't do that. And I'm getting the impression that people are having a really easy time picking apart the Lord of the Rings show. From what's been shown to me, a few characters, if you know who they are, it's like kind of ridiculously obvious they're the bad guy. And even if you don't, like, you get the impression this guy's the bad guy. Yeah. And then there's the lead female, apparently is just totally unwilling to work with anyone, but people work with her anyway because that's what the story demands. And that's not right. It's like a She-Hulk thing, you know, where it's like, that's not the way this would work, you know? Yeah.
I feel you, dog. I feel you.
So, but I don't know. That's coming from a position of ignorance. So,
all right. Our next comment. I don't really have much to add to add. So here's a question: what's the Marvel character you guys would like to see Insomniac do a game for? Specifically, Insomniac.
I mean, Insomniac don't do Marvel games.
Exactly. They've done
Why don't you ask about Sucker Punch? That's stupid.
Exactly. He says, I personally would love to see them do a Spider-Gwen spin-off game on the same scale of Miles Morales, and of they have her. Okay, it's a bit weird here. And of they have her be from the same world as Peter and Miles. Yeah, and have her be from the same world as Peter and Miles, and do an origin of her failing to save her friend who turned into a villain. They could just have that character be a different Marvel villain. I like the idea of a Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen's a good character.
I agree. I feel like are we gonna trust Insomniac with anything Spider-Man?
It's true.
They don't really. The Ratchet and Clank guys.
What do they know, eh?
Not really so sure about that. Also, and not that I don't love Spider-Gwen because she's great.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've got enough Spider.
I was just gonna say I was confused on how they're gonna do Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and I hope this next one is good. They're gonna put them in the same game. I thought they were gonna do, like we said, tandem. They go 1 year this, 1 year that, and go. Like
I would have given Miles the Into the Spider-Verse as a game.
Yeah.
That's the way I would have started off his thing personally.
But adding a third one might be a bit too much. But who knows? They're talented people, clearly, so maybe they can make it work. What character would I like?
Annoyingly, I would had they not announced it, I would have said Wolverine. So and also now that I'm thinking about it, another X-Men, I would like Magneto.
Ooh.
Magneto would be cool, but it's sort of that's another Superman fantasy. Just the powers look different in it.
Yeah.
Or Static Shock. I forget his name. There's I love this character, man. It's such a good cartoon. He's also another good Black stories like Miles Morales. Like, we don't have enough of these, so we could do this. I can't remember how he gets his powers, but basically he gets electric powers. But then, because he's like not an idiot, realizes that electricity, electromagnetism, and so he ends up with like this hovering disc of metal.
I see.
Using electric powers and like going down like electric lines and stuff.
Because
power lines.
he's not an idiot.
Right. Well, you know, because most people will be like, oh, lightning. How much can you do really with lightning powers, right?
Oh, I can electrify something. Oh,
right, you know. Or you could do like the Jam thing. You can charge a phone really quickly and then blow it up. But so Static X. The thing is, I think there's been 3 versions of it. It's been like Static X, Static Shock, and another one where they were like different takes on the same character or the same premise. But that was cool because he's like, think Miles Morales, maybe a little bit older, maybe like 17. And instead of becoming Spider-Man, he gets these like other powers, which is cool because it's like somewhat Magneto-esque, but also his lightning powers. They're freaking awesome. That would be cool. That would be a great game, but also we could do with him coming into a movie or two. I freaking love that show. It was what a good freaking show on my days. Such a good show.
I've got the answer.
Let's hear it.
It's Juggernaut, but also played by Vinnie Jones.
Mate.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
I think we should have a mockumentary.
Yeah.
And call it Juggernaut, where he trains for a marathon.
Ah, there we go. Oh, he was the best bit about that, by the way. I really liked. I thought it was so funny.
The only good thing in the whole movie, because the rest of it was so stupid.
And the thing he was wearing as well, that giant like muscle suit that he was wearing, that made him look ridiculous.
But he does look ridiculous. Juggernaut's a ridiculous looking character.
Yeah. I'm the what's that thing around your face? Keeps my face looking pretty.
Also, that Juggernaut is too stupid for that to actually be an anti-Professor X helmet. It's just a helmet.
Right. It's made of stone or something like that. Whatever it is.
Right, stupid. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the show Gargoyles?
No.
Oh, mate.
I think I might have been having sex or something like that.
Sounds awful.
Sounds terrible, isn't it?
Basically, it's MCU or Marvel canon stuff. They're these magical gargoyle dudes.
Yeah.
And during the day, they turn to stone. So that's why, like, there are gargoyles on churches and their premises. That's why there are gargoyles on churches.
I remember seeing this.
This show fucked so hard.
Yeah.
The show was great.
It's coming back to me now.
And then they're cursed. And the main guy, what's his name? He wakes up and has these iconic lines like, "Stone by night? What sorcery is this?" It's such a good freaking intro to these guys because they're betrayed by like this wizard or witch or something back in the day. And he wakes up and gets like, most of them were killed. They were turned to stone and then destroyed by like the evil wizard's forces or whatever it was. But like 6 or 7 of them
escape,
make it to today. And then somehow the curse is broken and they have to sort of figure out what they're doing. And they're trying to defeat the wizard's evil forces or whatever and do sort of like TMNT level of crime fighting while not being caught because they're in frickin' New York City. That was a great show. That Gargoyles. That would be a great show. And I'd like to see that come back. TMNT's a good one as well. Like, I think there's been too many TMNTs where it's just like those games, you know, it's like 2D and you move up and down and fight the enemies. Like, we could do a real one. Let's do a real TMNT. And let's get a real TMNT movie where it isn't Nightmare Fuel suits. Okay? Please. Except it wouldn't work because we're too far away from the 80s now.
Yeah.
That's... Well, what would they... That's bussin', bros. Like, no Ninja Turtle saying that, right? But totally tubular, they would say that, you know? They're not TikTokers.
Kids
Oh
now
God!
doesn't
Imagine
get
they
it.
make the movie now and they have like Raphael and Michelangelo
Flossing and stuff. Continuing, it says, here's another question. What is your favorite video game CG announcement trailer? Do you have a video game CG announcement trailer? Not that they stick in your mind. I'll tell you one that's really odd.
Halo 3.
Oh, yeah?
Without a doubt.
Oh.
Which you cannot look at because I told you if you do play through the games, once you finish 2, there's a documentary that they made and a trailer that I want you to watch because that's what I experienced. So that when you go into Halo 3, you have that. But Halo 3 without a doubt. Oh my God.
All right. There's two that spring to mind. One of them, I don't know if this counts because it also includes live action stuff in it. Destiny seemed to do... No, you know what? Even the Destiny CG trailers are fantastic.
They are brilliant.
They're the best things since sliced bread.
Well, same guys.
Exactly. And they do a live action version of stuff sometimes, and they're fucking fantastic as well. It's totally your fantasy to become a Guardian. But do you know what is the single best scene, transition I should say, in all of video game CG trailers ever?
Lay it on me.
Ghost Recon. They did this one transition where like there was a table with guns and cocaine, and then somebody got shot off screen, and then their blood spilled into the cocaine, and the camera zoomed into the bloody cocaine, and then it transitioned into like a mountain, and it was so perfect, so well done. I was like, wow, I wish I could just one day make one great thing like this, you know?
That does ring a bell, yeah.
It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. I just realized there's somebody in our Discord server that's been muted.
What?
I don't know who
I don't
this
see
is.
it.
Big God Anime Guru. I mean, they probably like anime, that's why. Anyway, I don't know who this person is.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Interesting. He says, for me, the announcement trailer for Deus Ex Mankind Divided is perfectly sets the stage for what Deus Ex is and is all about, and makes you instantly feel immersed in the Deus Ex universe. What he says.
Yeah, fair dues.
Nice. Did you find anything, or shall I have a quick look?
Of what?
Of that transition. Was you looking for that, or
No.
Okay.
It rings a bell, but so I didn't look for it. But I do remember it. For some reason in my head that was Far Cry though, but it isn't. Far Cry did some pretty good CG trailers as well. Let's be honest, the Far Cry series since like 3 did.
Did you see what Ubisoft did? So they're releasing a.
Oh no!
They're releasing a repackaged version of the recent Far Cry game with some extra little DLCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're calling it the Game of the Year version. I'm like, the balls on Ubisoft to call any one of their games Game of the Year. And I like people, you just see the comment section, it's like, excuse me? What? And they're like, you haven't even been nominated, let alone win Game of the Year for anything for a very long time.
I hate to admit it, but I kind of respect it.
Just balls out, just like, I'm the best.
I kind of respect it.
You're dog shit. I'm the best.
There's two kinds of people. There's when someone pantsers you.
Right.
There's the kind that immediately jumps down and grabs their stuff and they're humiliated. And there's the other kind that's like
helicopter dick.
That's the goods. Everybody, you all seen it? Right.
There you go.
All right. You still looking? You enjoying that? All right.
Keep going, son.
Now I'm gonna put it away, or maybe leave it out. I'll put it away. I kind of respect it.
That's good. Next comment. Thoughts on whether Sonic Frontier will get more sales than God of War Ragnarok in its first month? If anything like that was ever to happen...
The worst thing is the next line. Sonic has had an hour-long lines at Gamescom, TGS and EGX, whereas God of War Ragnarok had no lines. AKA, no interest.
That's, you can't even disprove it.
It's a solid point.
Can't even disprove it. On another note, PlayStation 5 next model having an optional Blu-ray. We said this in the last episode. Seems problematic from what I hear. It'll be plugged into the rear USB port. However, that is also the USB port used for external hard drives for PS4 games. So playing external games on hard drive. A little bit of a difference. It's not going to be the same PS5 model we've got now.
That's the thing.
It's a USB-C port, and there is no USB-C port currently at the back of the... so clearly it's something different. We'll have to see when it comes out. It would be a bit sucky if they just got rid of the USB port and then put USB-C. But also, there is one on the front, so I guess
I think there's plenty of ways to make it happen. I think the most likely thing is that if they mess it up in terms of that, that it will just make it an ugly setup.
Yeah.
Which, especially like for guys like us, we want our stuff to look neat, orderly.
Yes.
I want it to
organized mess.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna I don't dust around my shit, but like, I want it to make sense why stuff is there. Like, can they see? Yeah, like all the stuff behind us. It's not just chucked on the shelf because we have stuff. It's presented.
Yeah.
Right, because we're gonna spend time in it, and we want to view our stuff, see it, enjoy it. Right, exactly. Our stuff is presentable, and if you're going to have hard drives and disk drives with your PS5, you want it. One, I would like the styling for it to make sense next to it. I don't want it to just be like a black disk drive next to like a white PS4. Do you know what I mean? It should flow.
Yeah.
On the other hand, just stop being an idiot and buy the disc PS5.
Exactly. Stop being a loser.
Oh, but we can't find them. Just buy one.
I hope the idea is the whole thing. just buy one. We can't find it. We'll just buy one.
I love useless advice. It's one of my favorite things. Is like, if you're struggling with the last rep of your exercise, just push the bar up and away from you. You know. If you're trying to max out your squat and you realize that you get stuck at the bottom of the squat and you're not sure you're going to make the rep, just hit the PR. Useful tips for getting over asthma. Just grow up. Asthma's for kids.
So, how to draw a horse. Draw the head, draw the legs, and then finish the horse.
How to deal with... Look, are you homeless and tired of being homeless? Just buy a house.
Oh, boy. Our next comment. What are your thoughts on the Deadpool 3 and Wolverine coming back one last time? This is a gaming podcast right here. But it is the best thing since sliced bread. I lost my shit. I was so happy for like hours afterwards. It was great, fantastic, and it was all announced in the best way possible. The typical Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman comedy humor. It was great.
Which one? They did two. Which one? Did you
I
see
watched
both?
I watched both. The one where they were like, so the movie goes like this, and they play music over it. By the way, someone lip sunk it and read what they said about it, and it doesn't reveal anything in there.
It's just
like,
talking.
oh, there's a big explosion, and then like I stab him in the head, and then I'm like dead, but then I'm alive, and I'm happy, and I'm cool, and I'm like, oh, this is just them.
Two things. One, although I found that one very funny, I preferred the previous one. It was like, oh, hey, Hugh, want to be Wolverine in a movie? All right, fine, whatever. Yeah, I like that. Also, can we just say Ryan Reynolds can you just fuck off?
Yeah.
Being that good looking, that talented, that wealthy, to the point where Blake Lively is the one punching in the relationship, right? And then being a freaking marketing genius.
She got pregnant recently. She's like, well, I have to lock him down. It's like, we've got kids already, but it's just not secure enough.
The thing is, if you're one with a normal guy, at most your competition is half the species, women.
Yeah.
Right? Other women. Ryan Reynolds is literally everyone. And probably half the animals.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Just a random koala wearing by and just go, oh shit.
You koalas in Australia like, man, I want to give that guy chlamydia.
I'd give that guy chlamydia any day. Moving on. A Plague Tale Requiem, Scorn, Gotham Knights are games to be released in October. I'm excited for all of them. More just intrigued for Scorn though.
Scorn's an interesting looking game for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be more interesting and like going to maybe lack in the story department, but I'm still here for it to see what's going to happen.
I'd like to be wrong about that,
exactly,
for sure.
Exactly. Been playing Origami 2, a stealth game, and that's been so fun. Was going to leave Game Pass, but then it got extended, so I've come back to it. See, no one's happy with Game Pass. See right here, proof.
Yeah, Origami's trying to leave. Game where you fold paper, weird. Tailgate says this is news more for Sheps, or it was more of the Sheps territory, but EA are publishing a game with Koei called Rise of the Ronin. I have seen it.
Oh, we saw it. That was at the State of Play, wasn't it?
Yeah, have seen it, and then I've seen a bunch of the footage for the other stuff, Wild Hearts and stuff like that. It's got samurai, so like I'm down.
DTF.
The only way I would not be down, even like EA isn't enough to scare me away from it. at least until we see what like the infrastructure of the game looks like if it's a ridiculous pay to win, pay to play type thing. Obviously I'm not about it, but it's not Ubisoft, so I'm in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in. You got samurai swords. You had me at something in Japanese.
At something in Japanese.
You know? In other news, according to Tom Henderson from his new Gaming Insider site, the Dead Space remake will get more official updates in October, aka Spooky Month, which is fitting, and the press got to play it, and even this month. Wait. Oh, is that at an event this month? I think that's what this says. The press got to play it at an event this month, so we can expect to see some gameplay of the remake next month. And so far,
awesome.
It seems like the impressions from the people who got to play it are positive, which is a good sign. I mean, somehow, as an anti-horror guy, I'm a big Dead Space fan. I'm glad they're doing a remake, because it would have been cool if they made a third one.
Yeah.
Which they didn't. Instead, the original guys moved to make Callisto Protocol,
exactly.
Which is weird. You'd think they'd want to round it off, but that never got made.
Trilogies are nice, but apparently not.
It's a weird one because, like, I don't want to take anything away from the team doing the remake.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that you can mess up remakes.
Yeah.
GTA. Do you know what? We're not even going to go into this because it's quite long at the minute. So, if it's good, great. It just means that they're honouring the groundwork and just not messing it up, which it seems, I guess, these days to be quite hard because we've seen so many mess ups.
Yeah.
Dead Space is an incredible IP. And I'll be really curious to see how Dead Space Remake and Callisto Protocol go head to head, because they're in basically the exact same space. Because they're basically the Callisto Protocol. What's their name? What is the name of that?
Striking Distance.
Striking Distance.
That's the name of the team.
Yeah, it's their. Both of them are their babies, ultimately in terms of like ideas and story and execution. So it'd be really interesting to see how those go. And if you were that team, so we were talking about. Pedro Pascal saying he wants to put his own spin on Joel. If you were part of the team that was tasked to remake Dead Space, and you'd seen all the remakes coming out and how badly they'd done, would you put your own spin on it, or would you just make it as true to
safe? I'd go safe bet. Yeah. Safe bet, guys.
I think I'm the same. It's like the only changes I would make would be for like fluidity and stuff,
better controls, maybe. That's about it.
Right. You can change stuff that if there were any niggling issues that you'd had or people had complaints, that you sort of fix those. But overall, the game itself, the mostly for the core, it's the same. Like, it's the same game, but maybe you dye its hair.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You don't recast the game. Yeah, cool. I'm with you. Man, it's just a great time for, especially now that Cyberpunk's sort of fixed, for like anything sci-fi, which I always felt was it's underserved in movies, underserved in gaming. So we got Dead Space, we got Callisto Protocol, we got Cyberpunk sort of up and running.
Eventually, after 2 years.
But it is now.
Yes, that is now.
So, looking good for sci-fi simps like myself.
Some positivity in gaming for once, right?
Well, and also we got so much coming out so close to now.
This is
Ragnarok's months away.
I was gonna say, there was a period earlier on in the year where it was like things got really stacked behind each other. It was like Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Sifu, and then like another game something like after it, Stray and stuff like that. It's coming up to that kind of season again. And the thing is, 2023, so many games got delayed into 2023. It's just going to happen again and again and again.
I think once Ragnarok comes out, we're going to get a big sigh from all these other games, because I do think that is the game everybody was trying to avoid. No one before Elden Ring came out, no one knew how much of a storm it would make. So I don't think anyone cared about Elden Ring in that sense. Horizon's a big title, but it's not God of War.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to be anywhere near God of War. Once that comes out, I think the whole industry will go, oh yeah, we can just release the game now.
Yeah, we can get it out.
Yeah.
All right, bro. That's all we've got time to talk about today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, bro, for joining me here today. For some
how are we going to do it without me?
I could just turn on the camera and then just talk to no one and just be like, I do that normally anyway. So
it's true. You probably get better responses as well.
Exactly.
Plus, you don't have to worry about no one's tweets.
Guys, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for coming each and every week.
Pardon me? Come again.
If you want to come again, then feel free. I mean, if you got the energy.
Don't forget to like the video. Start all the way back from the beginning. Just let it play in your browser. It's fine.
And thank you guys for the support over at SuperTube 80 Plays. There's probably a video up by the time you watch this, and yeah, go check that out and give it a like, comment, and all that.
We're
stuff
so good at promoting stuff right at the end here.
Best place for it.
Right at the end.
You know, the audience retention, right? Those are the guys you want to get.
It is really good though. I'm actually been really impressed with the way you're at least thinking about stuff. I thought you'd just make videos, you sort of phone it in a weird way, but... I
was going to say, I learned something that's actually very fantastic. That last video that's doing so amazingly, I moved my intro where I, like, introduced myself. I've cut it down to basically just, like, 10 words, something like that.
Hi, I'm Eddie, let's talk about gaming.
Yeah, something like that. And I've moved it into, like, a minute into the video, so it actually gets started about the topic straight away, and I can see that from the amount of people that drop off. Like, usually you lose about half people in the first 30 seconds. Mine's sitting at, like, 70% of people are still there.
Yeah, because nobody cares about you to begin with.
Exactly.
They care about, like, tell me, I want to learn about God of War. So if it's like, hi, my name's Eddie. If you don't know, I've got this podcast and this other channel, but that didn't do too well. And like, no, I want to know about the 9 realms.
I feel really shit because my time travel video, I think, is genuinely good and it has like a good topic in there, but I started off and it was my first video. I was like, welcome back to the channel, which is weird because this is a brand new channel, which is things people don't care about, but people that know us were like, oh, this is funny. But I should have, if only I could cut that.
Do you know what you could do? Just remake it or re-upload it. Seriously, like,
or what if I was to just cut that out? Like, it had no intro of me introducing myself and it just gets into the thing. It's not a big deal, right?
No, do it. Re-upload it. There's no reason you can't.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for supporting us. We'll catch you guys all in the next one.
Gaming! Oh.
Now we're further away.
We are? Yeah, what happened? Oh, we moved it for Tyler, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
That freaking guy!
That guy's
ruins everything.
Ruining everything. I swear, I couldn't even make love to my woman the other day because I was just thinking
about Tyler. That's the only way I can make love to my woman, though. So
thinking about Tyler.